Hello and welcome to Two Chicks in a Horror Flick. I am Felicia Connor.
And I'm Tawny Ray.
And we are very excited. This is our last episode of 2020, and we're calling it Two Chicks in a Horror Flick, a year in review. Sounds so intense and official. Official, yeah, not intense, but official. So
I do like it. It's very proper.
Broadcast journalism-esque, you know? Yes, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're going to talk about today is we all know that 2020 has been a rough year, and we are all very aware of all the bad stuff that went wrong, and very deeply, unfortunately, for some people, even went wrong in a very serious way if they had lost family members or had gotten sick or any number of things. So we just felt that we have been inundated for the entire year with all of this very heavy, bad stuff. So we wanted to end the year and enter into 2020 really focusing on more of a positive note and talking about the good things that happened to us. Lift our spirits, lift our vibration, have a fun podcast episode talking about some good stuff. We're also going to share some good shows, books, games, I don't know, whatever we wanted to recommend because we really liked it. So we've jotted some of that stuff down. We're also going to share some cool podcast stats and different things about our podcast. We're going to talk about our favorite movies that we've watched for the podcast. And then we are going to do listener Q&A, some really great questions submitted by listeners. So thank you to all of you. And then Tawny has this Christmas trivia that she's been asking if I want to play, and I do. So we're going to do that. And then, of course, we're going to talk about what's coming up in January. So I'm really excited.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Homies of Horror because they're great. And I was listening to their episode today called Homies Holiday Hour is the title of the episode. And they did kind of a similar thing where they did like some Q&A and Erica had come up with like a game that they played. And I was like, I had already come up with a trivia game, like a Christmas movie trivia game for my coworkers because we had like, a Zoom holiday party. And so I was like, oh, that'd be fun. Like, we should totally do that. But, like, I can't take it because I know the answers because I put it together. So it's just going to be for Felicia, and you guys can follow along, and we'll just do, like, one at a time. But
yeah,
anyway,
you guys can answer in your head while we're playing. Oh, that's fun. I'm excited about that. So before we dive into this delicious episode, Tawny, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a cherry old-fashioned. So at this point, we've just, like, I'm calling it that, but that's really fancy because it's really just cherry juice, cherries, and whiskey, and like a little bit of water.
Is it good?
So it is good. I like it a lot. It's very sweet.
What
are you drinking?
What whiskey are you using?
Same. I'm just sticking to that Buffalo Trace. So good.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace is good. They have some like different ones that my husband has that are really, really good. I had mentioned this today because it just clicked after all of this time engaging with Rye Smile Films on Instagram. They submitted a question for us as well. Seeing all of their whiskey, they're like do whiskey and movies, and liking it, I was like, oh my gosh! I told them, hey, we pretty much only drink whiskey. Very rarely do we not drink whiskey. But my husband, and I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a cold, so I'll try not to make any noises with my cold. My husband is just amped up his whiskey and cigar collection. Like we literally need a new house so he could have a room. And so we bought him for Christmas this one he really wanted. And it's called, oops, I hit that mic. Little Book Whiskey. Sorry, you could barely see that. And it's in this cool wood box. And it's
that is neat.
It's chapter 4, if anyone's curious, because my husband said that the reviews are that chapter 4, there's 4 different chapters of the whiskey.
Okay.
Chapter 4 is one of the best, and it's really good. And he let me have some. Well, he let me have some the other night, and I have some now, but this is one he really wanted. It's very good, by the way.
Your little whiskey glass.
Yes, and he even taught me how to smell the whiskey. You breathe in through your mouth and your nose.
I went back to watch that documentary, by the way, and it wasn't there. They took it off.
Oh, no. Are you sure?
I know.
Hulu?
Oh, maybe I was looking in the wrong place. I looked at Netflix, so I'll go look at Hulu.
Oh, look at Hulu. I think I saw it on Hulu. If not, maybe they took it off. But that's weird. But yes, if you're going to smell whiskey, and I'm probably doing it wrong. Well, I don't know. You put it right in the center here of the divot, and you breathe in and smell at the same time. Try it just smelling with your nose and then doing both. It's a big difference. But there's a little whiskey thing for
Do you think I could tell with mine, even though it's not just whiskey?
You could try.
There's really not much of a smell, actually.
Yeah, usually you would do it with just whiskey.
I'm just getting my hand lotion smell.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll have to try that later.
Yeah, it's good. This little book is really good. My husband likes it too. So we got him 3 bottles of nice whiskey for Christmas. So
oh,
he's
cool.
happy, yeah.
Nice.
All right, well, should we...
So that's what you're drinking.
That's what I'm drinking.
Sorry, that was weird. I didn't know where to go from there.
How was your holiday?
It was good. We were gonna go see my family in Colorado. And like last minute, like the day before we were supposed to fly out, I started feeling a little sick. I got like a little bit of a sore throat. I got a little bit achy in my neck, and I got like a headache. And I just panicked about it all day, and just eventually, it was like 10:30 at night, 11 p.m. And Jade and I had been talking about it all day. I had been panicked all day, right? Because I just have anxiety, and I just was like, I'm so scared about this. I don't want to get anybody else sick. If I'm sick, like, I don't even know if I am sick, but I, could just have a cold. But anyway, it was just like this whole thing, and all day, and we're like driving to drop off our dog at Jade's grandparents' house who watch her. And we're talking about it, and he's like, well, what does your heart tell you? Which sounds funny, but Jade says that all the time. And it is kind of funny, but he, like, means it.
I love that.
Because what does your heart tell you?
Because your heart knows.
And I was like...
Your gut knows.
I was like, honestly, my heart tells me that we shouldn't go. That we should just wait a little bit longer. But even then, I was like, oh, well, okay, well, we'll just wait and see how I feel. But, like, after all day, I was just like, at this point, it's, like, too stressful. It's so stressful to think about all of those things, and even think about, like, okay, we get there, we're there for 7 days. I'm just going to panic the entire time I'm there. I'm, like, worried I'm going to, get everybody else sick. So it was, like, a major deal, but we just decided, like, literally the night before our flight, like, okay, let's not go. So we ended up just staying here in Idaho. And, we went and hung out with Jade's immediate family, because they're, like, our bubble, right? Like, his parents and brothers. We really don't go out much. We go to the like supermarket, and that's like, even that we like usually pick up groceries. But so it was kind of sad in the way that, I was obviously excited to go see my friends and family, and so was Jade, but it just felt like I did not feel bad about the decision. I felt like it was a good decision. And, we can just wait another couple months. It's like so many people are going to be flying also. That was the other concern, is they don't really, I'm hearing that they don't space you out anymore like they were doing, because there was too many people flying. And so that became concerning. Anyway, so we just stayed here, and we just hung out. Like, it was just like really low key, because that's just like how we are. We're just like hanging around the house. We're homebodies, really. And I spent a lot of time organizing. Like, that's why this whole setup, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm like in a different spot. And it's because I ordered a table, or like a new desk on Black Friday. And I needed to like clear out this room. Like, it was messy. Felicia's seen it. I'm too embarrassed to like show other people, but maybe I'll post pictures, who knows, because I like the before and afters. But it was messy. Like, we had like boxes that we hadn't unpacked for like 3 years. We've been in this apartment for like 3 years, and we still hadn't unpacked fully. And I was just like, this is a mess. We gotta fucking clean this up. So took everything out of this room, which was pretty much everything, right? Like, this was just our dumping ground and Jade's office. And so I just spent like days just organizing and throwing stuff out, and like, putting it back in a smart way, which I love. It was fun. It's like so, I don't know, rewarding to do that. Like, I really enjoy that.
Therapeutic.
So it was good.
So
therapeutic.
Like
That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
I know what you mean.
What we've been up to.
I know what you mean about that, like the COVID thing. Like, geez, this morning, Tawny knows this, but I woke up. I was exhausted. My head hurt. My body ached. I've had this scratchy throat and cough. And I had an eye appointment today to get some glasses with like the blue light because on the computer all day, my eyes strain. And I also had a dentist appointment for Wednesday, and I rescheduled both just to be safe. Like, because I don't know. It could be a cold, it could be allergies, it could be COVID. And usually I wouldn't worry so much, and when I called them to change the appointment, they were so grateful. They're like, a lot of people don't. Yeah. They still just come in. So we really appreciate it. And, what do you do? It's better to be safe than sorry. We had my ex-husband, so the older daughters, their father and his girlfriend, they came in and they stayed with us. They came in Monday before Christmas and stayed with us the whole week. It was really nice. It was fun. They're really good people. And then they left up to Flagstaff on Sunday. And they're going to go, take a look at the campus up there because my daughter got accepted up there. And then they're staying there for the week to go snowboarding. And then my mom and dad arrived today. Is there anything, usually we talk about some stuff that we've watched and we liked, but I want to talk about that in a little bit because I want to talk about that in the recommendations. But is there anything you watched that you don't recommend, but you watched it?
I do. I have one thing. We watched Wonder Woman 1984, and it was not good. It was really fucking weird and bad. I mean, I didn't hate it. It was like kind of entertaining to watch. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. They were gonna go see it. My girls and their dad were gonna go see it on the weekend, but it was sold out. So a lot of disappointed people, I'm guessing, because it was sold out.
I've seen a lot of people say they didn't like it. So I'm not alone here. It was bad. It was like a mess of a movie. There was all kinds of shit in there that just was like, what? Like, you're just like, I mean, I get that you have to suspend your disbelief to some degree because you're watching a superhero movie, right? Like right? There's like a level of that you have to get on board with. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then there was just all this shit that did not make sense, dude. It was off the wall. I don't want to ruin it in case you want to watch it still, but I just don't. I almost think it's worth a watch just so that you can be part of the pop culture phenomenon of like talking shit about this movie because it was like so fucking weird. And I like Wonder Woman a lot. I liked the first movie a lot. This did not hold a candle. It was weird.
Okay.
It was so weird. So that's the one thing I watched that I don't recommend.
Oh, okay. I will have to. I'm not like amped to see it. I did like the first one. I'm not typically one that's like, oh my God, I have to go see the new superhero movie that's out. But I liked them when I eventually see them. So, okay. Good feedback. Anything else?
I mean, it's like entertaining, I guess. It's like, yeah, it's rough. It's a rough one.
I saw some things, but I want to recommend them.
Okay,
which I'm glad.
Nothing bad on your end.
I very rarely ever have time to watch anything besides, like True and any other Disney or cartoon show. Yeah. Parents will know who True is. They'll know. But over and over and over again. Or YouTube. She watches a lot of YouTube, so we watch a lot of that. But no, nothing for the things that I got to watch. I got to watch 2 full things while wrapping presents. And so that was awesome because no one wanted to bug me. Mom's wrapping presents. Yeah. Too bad I can't wrap presents year round. Like every week.
I know.
Because they were happy not to bug me because I was wrapping presents.
Is it because they don't want to wrap? What is the deal there?
Oh, no, because they're excited because it's their presents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the kids and stuff like that. They're like, oh, we need to leave Mommy alone. We can't go in there because she has all the presents out and she's wrapping. So that's
we're going to ruin it for ourselves. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yes. And for anyone on YouTube, I had a quick change because I was hot. So I put on my Beatles shirt with the walking slashes.
With horror.
Yes. But yeah, no, that's about it. Anything else?
Nope, all the other things I liked.
So maybe we should just pop right into that.
Okay.
What are some shows, books, games, podcasts, whatever, other stuff that you really liked this year that you want to recommend to others?
Oh, you mean like overall?
Yeah.
We're talking.
Yeah.
Whole time. Oh shit.
Do you want me to go first?
Hang on. Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I'll go first. So I wrote a bunch of stuff down. So for everybody listening, one of my, and you've already heard this, but one of my very favorite YouTube channels, and it's a podcast, is That Chapter. If you like true crime, he does a really great job. Mike O. He does a really great job of giving the details, but not getting into gory. He's comedic. He's like sarcastic and comedic, but not in a disrespectful way. I really like disrespectful to the victims. He's actually very respectful to the victims and to the things that happened to them. He doesn't go into too gory detail, but you know what happened. And he does a great job. He makes you laugh, and he makes you interested, and he shocks you. So I'd highly recommend That Chapter on YouTube. One of the things I watched while wrapping presents, Run on Hulu.
Oh yeah, you told me to watch this.
Yes, I loved it, with Sarah Paulson.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, I don't know why all of a sudden I said her name and went, that's not her name. Very, very good.
I think that's right.
Yeah. I think it is too. Why am I second guessing myself? Yeah, Sarah Paulson. Okay. I was totally second guessing myself as soon as I said her name. You know, sometimes you say words and they don't feel right. Is that the word?
Let me just tell you, I'm constantly, one of my biggest fears, I don't even know if we talked about this, I can't remember. My biggest fear is that I'm not going to remember somebody's name.
Yeah.
So even as somebody's name comes out of my mouth, I'm like, did I just say the wrong name? Like, oh my God. Please don't let me have said the wrong name. Like, it is like, I try so hard. If I'm not like 1,000% sure, I won't say their name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just like will not. I'll be like, hey, you. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I don't know why that's such a big deal, but I feel like I've ran into enough people who get like really mad if you don't know their name. So anyway, that's just.
I'm totally the same. Sometimes I psych myself up so much that I forget people's names that I know their names, like I've known them forever. It's like when I'm about to introduce people together. It's like this weird thing. Like I've psyched myself up so much that I freeze. So my husband knows if I say, hey, this is my husband, Steve, and I pause, that he goes, hi, I'm Steve, to make the other person say their name.
Say their name. Yes, totally. Totally. There's been a handful of times that I've gone to say Steve's name, and I'm like, Steve. Even though it's dumb, I've heard you say it like 8,000 times. I know his name is Steve, but every time I go to say it, I'm like, what if I have it wrong? Like,
I did with Jade a lot in the beginning. And then I think that we've talked about it enough and I've said his name enough that now I know like his name. But at first I was like that too. And I used to just say Tawny's man. Tawny's man.
Yeah, that works.
Sarah Paulson in Run. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I was like, oh no. I was very stressed out in a good way, in like a very anxious way. Okay. Tawny and I had talked about it before, but All Be Gone in the Dark on HBO. If you haven't seen that, I see now Michelle McNamara, right? I believe I said the right name. And her body of work on the Golden State Killer or the East Area Rapist, same person. Totally forgot what he was called when he was down killing people, but the Golden State Killer. So she has a book, but this documentary is about her book and about how they eventually caught this killer, and it was phenomenal. I've talked about Queen's Gambit. I haven't finished it, so I was hesitant.
You haven't finished it?
I haven't finished it yet because I've been watching other stuff. Did you finish it?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about because I was like, we started watching it and I was like, Jade, we need to binge this. Like, I need to binge this. I need to know what happens. And he was like not letting me. Like, we would only watch one episode a day. He was like, no, we cannot run through this because it's like 7 episodes. He was like, we have to pace ourselves. But on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we watched 2 each finally and finished it. So, but it was like all I could think about. I was like so fucking excited about this show. It was so good. I couldn't even contain myself. So
was it good?
Anyway,
did it end
so good? Yeah, I think so.
So it wasn't like a Ratchet situation. I didn't even have Ratchet on my
No.
list because of how it ended.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Okay, good. So Queen's Gambit, guys, you got to watch that. It even ends good. I
cried a bunch.
Oh, crying. I love being
I won't
moved to
spoil
deep
it.
emotion.
But I was like, it's a show about blank. Like, I'm like telling Jade, it's a show about. It was so good.
I love it.
Loved it. Also, everything in that show just looks phenomenal. Like, I was just like, all the outfits that she wears are like incredible. I just loved the aesthetic. I'm not like really super into like that aesthetic. Like, I guess that'd be 60s, right? 60s into 70s,
50s,
kind of.
50s, 60s? Is that not
Yeah,
50s?
you're right. We probably span quite, but they kind of all lump together a little bit as far as just this aesthetics and like fashion and makeup and stuff goes. So that's generally like not my thing, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. And it was really good. Sorry. That's
awesome. No, I was thinking, I don't know if I want to watch it's about chess. Even though I like Bobby Fischer, I like a lot of movies that are about that, like The Underdog That Prevails. But I just wasn't sure. First episode, I was definitely hooked. I was into it. I watched several of the episodes. I might almost be done, so I should.
You must be close.
Yeah, I
gotta
so
be close
because I watched several. I would stay up late watching it. I only have a handful more. I really, really enjoyed The Toys That Made Us and the holiday movies that made us on Netflix.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun, especially because a lot of those toys, right, we grew up with. I grew up with My Little Ponies where I had like 80 of them. And so I loved seeing all the drama and all the, like, especially when it almost didn't get made or I don't know. It was just cool. I loved it. And along with that was the cursed films on Shudder. That was another one I liked because I liked learning about just all that stuff that I didn't know about these films and about these toys.
To tack onto that, I also loved The Toys That Made Us. And I have not seen the movies that made us, simply because all of the movies are ones that I'm just not super jazzed about. And I tried to watch the holiday movies that made us, and I couldn't even get 10 minutes into that fucking episode. I was like, this is unwatchable. It was so obnoxious. Yeah, just the, like, cutting in of the narrator. Like, I was like, let them tell the story.
Oh, yes. So I did like it because I liked to hear about the different stuff. But the narrator, I did feel was unnecessary. I agree with you.
It got crazy. I was like, and I'm sorry, I just interrupted you.
No.
I'm so passionate about this. But I was like pissed because I was so excited to watch it and I wouldn't watch it by myself. I had to wait until Jade was available and wanted to watch it. It was like a whole thing. And then we finally sit down and start watching it. And I'm like, I hate this. I hate it. Turn it off. I can't deal with this. Like, it was just so annoying. The other ones, again, like I haven't seen the movies that made us, but The Toys That Made Us and High Score seem like they're made by the same people. And they at least let the people tell the story, and it's like through creative editing, you get the feel. It was like they couldn't replicate that. It was like they fucking struck gold on the first one, and I wonder if they got a whole new set of people to do the second one, like fired the last team, got a new team, and couldn't like make it happen the way the first one went. I don't know. I was just like, what the hell is happening? So I haven't watched any of that, but at least the holiday movies that made us.
Yeah, I didn't see the movies that made us, just the holiday movies. So you might love it or you might hate it. I can't agree with Tawny, though. The narrator was irritating. But I liked...
It was just too much.
I liked hearing about, like on Elf, the different, the different stuff and how they almost didn't get it made and nobody wanted to do it and stuff like that.
You'll have some insider knowledge then for some later questions that I have for you and my
I
quiz.
Hope so. Whenever there's a competition, I feel like the anxiety rise.
Oh, don't. It's not that
I'm only
big a deal,
competing
but...
against myself, though.
Exactly. To tack on to what you just said, too, the Cursed Films was good, and I've already said this before, but I'm just going to reiterate. I love Eli Roth's History of Horror series on Shudder. If you have Shudder and you love horror, you have got to watch this if you haven't already. It's so good. He talks to all kinds of different people, like, film historians and people who, like, analyze film. It's just incredible. And then directors and people who did stuff, actors. It's just like the whole gamut. So good. And I've already watched the whole second season and started to rewatch the second season because it's so good.
Oh, awesome. I have to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. So I'll watch that next. I'll actually watch that next.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Okay. Another one that I liked, but I haven't finished, but I liked it as I started, was Monsterland. But you know what? I'm going to finish these things now because a few days ago, I actually upgraded my Hulu. It was a whole ordeal because we had like Hulu and ESPN through Disney Plus bundle. I had to cancel Disney Plus bundle and do the bundle through Hulu so that I could upgrade Hulu to no ads. So we were like binge watching Hulu as a family because it didn't have any ads. So we were pretty excited. So I'm going to finish Monsterland as well. That's my next one I want to finish.
Okay. I haven't finished that either. It's just really, it's a little too much. It's a little too dark, I think, for me. That I haven't revisited it. I'm just not ready.
I'm
not
curious.
ready for that.
I'm curious about, Yeah, I feel you. There's some things that are just really heavy that makes you, like the girls, my girls told me that there's an animated show, I believe it's on Netflix, called If I Don't See You Again, I Love You. And it's about a school shooting. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer and I was crying. And it makes me really scared. Just the title makes me scared to even watch it. I think it's going to be too painful to watch.
I avoid even watching the trailer. I'm scared of that one too. I just don't. I'm like... Ugh.
For a really long time, I was scared to watch Precious. Remember when that was all with the awards and everyone was talking about Precious? I was so scared to watch it. But then I eventually did. And yeah, it's a heavy. It was a good movie. It was a really good movie, but heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot.
Just a few more. The Outsider on HBO. I really like this. I loved the book. It's a Stephen King book called The Outsider. And I really liked it. And I really liked the HBO miniseries version as well. I'm always nervous when I'm watching, I've mentioned it before, a book that's turned into something for TV or for a movie because the book was so good, especially if the book is good. But I thought they did a great job, and I love Jason Bateman. So I was really excited that he was in it. I think he's just so good. But that was a really good one, if you want, in my opinion. And I have two more things. Another thing that I watched while I was wrapping presents was Little Fires Everywhere. So A, excellent book if you want to read the book, and B, excellent little mini series on, Hulu. It's on Hulu. And from what I understand, Reese Witherspoon read the book in her Reese's Book Club and loved it, and so made it into this mini series. I believe that her company produced it and everything. It's really good. If you liked the book, you're going to really like this mini series. And then last but not least, this is new. This is a very new love for me, and it's turned into kind of an obsession. The game Among Us. My kids play Among Us. My little one's nagging me to play. It's like, I don't want to play because people are going to kill me, and games stress me out. I started playing. Dude, I played it like 3 times today. Like, I'm like, hey, TT, I have a break. Let's play Among Us. Like, we're rallying up. The other day, the whole family played. We were all in different rooms of the house playing different characters. So I dig that little game. If you haven't played it, maybe you want to. It's like a quick little play. It's fun. Tawny, I think, hates it because she looks kind of tense. But all right, Tawny.
I haven't played it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't played it. I hear a lot about it. Like, people are obsessed with it. And even Jade today said, so like right around Christmas, Jade's family did like a Zoom, type thing with the other extended family that are in different places, and they have like a handful of people in the family who play Among Us, including Jade's brother Bryce. And Jade's played Among Us a little bit. He's like super into video games, but he didn't get like sucked in like these other people did. And I haven't played it. I bet it's good, just based on the fact that everybody loves it. But I guess they tried to get everybody to play this game, which, you've got like a family, big age range, right? And so we are talking to them over on Christmas, and they're like, we didn't even know how to play. Like, right? Like, the younger kids, they know how to play, like, because they've been playing it, and they don't like explain the rules or anything to anybody, so they're all fucking lost. And Jade goes over to his parents' house today, and his stepdad, Dirk, is like playing Among Us on his phone. Like, I'm like, shit, everybody's getting hooked. So it's not just you, it's everybody in the world.
Okay. I'm pretty hooked. I like it. It's a cute little game, and you have to be clever, and it's pretty quick. Like the game length, you pop in and you do the little thing, and usually somebody wins pretty quickly. But it's fun. It's fun. I like that game.
As far as video games go, I haven't played a lot of video games this year, but I will say the couple things that I played was some Silent Hill, because we watched Jacob's Ladder and that put me down a Silent Hill path. And I bought on the Nintendo Switch this like 3-pack of games, and it's Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and then I think the other one is like Super Mario Galaxy. I haven't played that one at all. But I used to play Super Mario Sunshine with my friend all the time on her GameCube when we were like little. And so I haven't even opened up the other 2 games in this 3-game pack. I've only played Super Mario Sunshine. So the most gaming hours for me this year, I think, has gone to Super Mario Sunshine. So that's kind of fun. I don't usually play a lot of video games. It's like just here and there, I will kind of pop in, or if I get like super obsessed with something, like, I know you probably don't know much about this, Felicia, but there's this game called Dark Souls, and just the other day I was like, shit, when are they gonna send out another Dark Souls? Like, I'm ready for that. Like, I want to play some Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls is the tippy top, like, crazy. It's so hard. It's infamous for being like one of the most difficult video games that you can play. And it's really? Like not what you would expect, I think, at all. And I just got sucked way the fuck into these games. They're so good and they're so crazy. But the thing is, they have like this horror element to them. Like, that's why I think I love them, is they're fun. But like, you fight these like gigantic bosses that are like macabre. Like, you know what I mean? It's like body parts. Like, one of them in particular is like all these body parts stuck together, and he's got this gigantic like machete, and you're trying to like dodge lava pools and shit. Like, it's like crazy stuff, but it's super fun.
Oh, that's cool. I've gotten really soft in my older age. When I was even soft to the Mario Brother level, like when I was young, I had a Nintendo and I played Mario Brothers and all of that stuff. And now my little one plays the Mario, I don't know which one it's called. I don't know, but it's Mario Brothers. And she'll be like, play with me. And I'm like, nope, because I don't like that I die. Like that I get to a level and then die and have to start over. Like, for example, I'll play Roblox with her, which is just like, we're going and we're decorating a house, like Sims. And then we go do this and we go do that. Or there is, what is it? I think there's a Roblox game where you're doing stuff, but you don't die. Oh, Legos. Any Lego game. The Lego, Indiana Jones, Lego, Harry Potter, any of the Lego games on the Xbox, I like playing, or on her Nintendo, I like playing that. Because you die and then you pop right back. And then you keep going. Same thing with Among Us. I mean, you might be killed, but then the imposter is discovered, and then you pop in and play another game. But when you've worked so hard to reach a level, you have made me want to try Silent Hill again. I tried it in my 20s, and I remember it terrified me, just that scraping sound, and that, like, I was so scared that I couldn't play it.
Yeah, it is scary.
Yeah.
And which I appreciate about it. I like it a lot. But yeah, I get you. It's hard. And to go back to Dark Souls, like, that's the thing that's really hard about Dark Souls, is like, if you die, you drop all your souls, and then you only have bonfires, and those are like your save points, right? But bonfires are like pretty few and far between. And so you have to like be able to fight your way like to the next bonfire without dying, because if you die and you drop your souls, you can fight your way from your last bonfire to try to get back to those souls and pick them up. But if you die on the way there to pick up your souls, you lose them all. Oh. And there's this like game mechanic where you, at least in the, I can't remember actually if it's like this for all of them, but you start to like decay. Like, and shit gets harder. Like, it's not like a game that you just die and you just start over. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's an actual consequence for dying too many times. But you have to die a bunch of times to be able to, like, figure out how to kill the things. And, like, it's, like, totally fucked. But luckily, you can pull people in that are online playing to come and help you in, like, a cooperative mode. There's, like, these soapstones that you write down, like, and that's what's so fucking fun about this game. I never played a game like this before. all the games I play are like, one player games anyway, except for Dark Souls. But you can put down a sign and people can call you into their world. So you can go in as like a phantom and like help them, and you can call people in to help you. So the thing is, like, I don't think I've ever fought a boss in that game by myself, because unless you have to. Some of the bosses are forced that you can just do it by yourself, or you have to do it by yourself. But you pull people in and you go in as like a whole team and you like fight the bosses and stuff. So
That's cool.
it's fun.
Something else which is very, very recent is, if you guys want to read The Mist, it's a good book. I really liked it. It's a short read. I also really like the book I'm a Badass at Making Money.
Oh yeah, you know what book? I
fun.
feel like I only read maybe 2 books this year, and I read Untamed by Glennon Doyle, which you gifted to me.
Yes,
incredible book, and super incredible. Like, highly recommend. And The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish.
Oh.
This book is so fucking good and funny, and also kind of sad. Like, it's like a what's it called? An autobiography. So she talks about like her childhood, and she, has a lot of dark struggles. She was like a foster kid. I think she was a foster kid, and there was some like abuse that had happened when she was like younger, and she talks about all that. So it's like, it's heavy. There are parts of this book that are heavy, but she is so fucking funny in the way that she talks about what all of these things and how they happened. And I was in awe of this book. I'm not usually, if I read a book, it's going to be, personal development. Like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something like that, like a nonfiction personal development book. So I don't usually listen to like autobiographies or books about people, but this was so good.
So talking about books, that's really good. So I have 4 books that I will share that I listened to on Audible this year and absolutely loved. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck was really fun and really awesome and had some really good pointers. All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. Obsessed with that book. I listened to it. I bought the physical copy. If I really like a book, I'm like balls to the wall. I contribute a lot because I buy it on Audible. I buy the physical book. I buy however I can get it. I get it. The Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. I didn't know if I was going to like that because when it started, there's magic. I thought, is this like an adult Harry Potter version? Oh my gosh, by the end, I was just like, I cannot wait for the second book to come out. It was so good. I absolutely loved it. And last but not least, The Institute by Stephen King. I loved it. It was really good and creepy, and I hope they make a good movie or a good miniseries about it. Good being the key.
Okay. That seems good. I've heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah.
The Institute, and I almost bought it when I was like looking for books. Oh God, that's the other book that I read. How could I have forgotten? The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is what it's called, and it's by Grady Hendrix. And Grady Hendrix is like, I've only read one other book by him, and it was My Best Friend's Exorcism. But both of these books are just incredible, and they give you such a like unique feeling. Like, Grady Hendrix does a really great job of, I don't know, like capturing the feeling of like what he's going for, in my opinion. That's just, my opinion. I know other people feel different ways about it, but these books are so good. And they're in the horror kind of genre a little bit. And he also wrote the screenplay for Satanic Panic, which is a movie that I really like. It's on Shudder, so if you want to watch that, you can go watch it on Shudder. But it's directed by Chelsea Stardust, and he wrote the screenplay. And that movie feels sort of like these books do, like, which is just interesting that he has like a whole vibe,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I never heard of those. I'll have to check them out. I should probably say that I think a lot of the things I mentioned, minus Little Fires Everywhere, were not necessarily 2020 things, but I had finally experienced them and discovered them in 2020. And there is a show I just realized because Tawny and I were chatting called Run on HBO. I have not seen it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one with Sarah Paulson on Hulu. I don't want to be recommending something that's not good. And if Run on HBO is good, then cool. Watch it.
Then cool. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start on my list.
Okay, go for it.
So, For sure, Pen 15 was incredible.
Oh, yeah. You talked about that. Yes.
So good. People of the world, just go watch it. Just go watch it and see how you feel about it. It's so eerily, like, close to my experience as a kid. It's, like, uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch the show because I'm, like, straight up, you pulled it out of my brain, you put it on camera. Like, it is so good. Also, What We Do in the Shadows, season 2, I think, came out in 2020, so like you're saying, I think the first season came out before that, but What We Do in the Shadows is so good. Both of these things are comedy.
I never even heard of that. What We Do in the Shadows.
You haven't heard of this?
Not What We Do in the Shadows, I haven't.
Oh my god. Okay, so it started as a movie by Taika Waititi, and you just watched Jojo Rabbit. How'd you feel about that?
I loved it.
Did you love Jojo Rabbit?
I loved it.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jojo
So
Rabbit. Yeah, that's not 2020, but yeah, I love that. I recommend it. It was so good. I cried. So good.
So good. We went and saw that in theaters. And Parasite. I don't know. I don't think that was 2020 either, though.
I haven't seen that
maybe
yet. I need to.
Yeah. What else? The Queen's Gambit, obviously, we already talked about that. I'm just scrolling through. I had to find a list, because sometimes I need to jog my memory, you guys. Like, sometimes I need to just see what other people are talking about, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was good, that was good. What else did I write down? This is my top. Like, when you said that, and I started to think entire 2020, obviously I can't remember all the way to, like, January. There could be other things that I'm gonna miss, but I fucking loved Dave. If you haven't seen Dave,
never seen
y'all
Dave.
need to go watch Dave.
Where's Dave?
It's on Hulu.
Hulu?
It's on Hulu because it was on FX. And it's with Little Dicky. You know who Little Dicky is?
No.
He is a rapper. And he is just, like, a lot of his raps are like satire, kind of. Like, they're funny. They're humorous in nature. I sound like a scientist. The raps that Little Dicky, also known as Dave, I can't remember his last name, but I think the show is actually called Dave, but there was, like, this whole trailer where it's like, hi, I'm Dave, and he, like, wrote the song for it. It was so fucking funny, and I was, like, telling everybody, like, you need to watch the show, you guys, like, it is so good. Okay. It's just incredible. So you need to watch it. Everybody else needs to watch it. Get back to me. Tell me what you think. These are all comedies, and I'm usually not a comedy person.
Yeah,
so
all of these
this is interesting. While we're on that subject, Big Mouth was an incredible revelation for me.
Okay. That's a cartoon,
on
right?
Netflix. Yes. But it's like an adult cartoon. I'm sure that teenagers watch it, and teenagers probably should watch it, honestly, because it's, like, all about, like, puberty and, like, going through changes, and it is so funny and well done, and there are parts to this that are, like, maybe a little bit over the top for me, but, like, as a whole, it's so good. It's done by Nick Kroll and what's his name? John Mulaney. So Nick Kroll and John Mulaney are, like, the two main voices for the two main boys, but there's, like, a whole cast of characters. It's so good. I recommend it, but it's not for everybody. Like, at some point, we were at Jade's parents' house, and somebody was like, let's watch that. And I was like, Jade's mom is going to hate this. Because it's definitely vulgar. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's you might like it, Felicia, because it's just interesting.
Okay.
Let's see. The other couple or things that I wrote down. Uncut Gems really surprised me as a movie. I thought I was going to dislike it.
I like that too.
It was so good. Mm-hmm. God, Adam Sandler. Fantastic in this movie. I forgot I was watching Adam Sandler. I was like, oh, it was so good. And then as far as, like, podcasts go, I could sit here and name 8,000 other horror podcasts. Just by the nature of doing our podcast, we've started to, have relationships and listen to other podcasts. So I feel like I don't even want to start that train because I'll never end it. So, like, there's tons of awesome horror movie podcasts out there.
That's why I didn't even write any down, because I didn't even...
It's hard to even start, and you don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm sorry, you guys, but we did. We both independently made that choice. But as far as podcasts go, I've already talked about it before, but I'm just going to reiterate. You're Wrong About is an incredible podcast, and I just highly recommend it.
You're Wrong About, yes. Yeah, I did the same. I was, like, writing down all the... If you want to know, you can go to our Instagram. and go to our followers or the people we follow. Go to our following in those podcasts.
Yes.
So many good ones. I thought of one more, okay? Ozark. That was so good.
I started it, but I didn't like finish it.
I started it, and at first I was like, I'm not sure, and then all the way to the end. The only bad thing is I don't think they're doing another one. I've heard. I don't think they're going to continue it for some reason. I really hope they change their mind because I want to know what happens next. But again, Jason Bateman, so good.
Love him.
Yeah, I love him too. He's so good. Maybe he'll be on our show. We've got a spot for you, Jason.
I think he's in this other horror movie called The Gift, if I'm remembering correctly, and The Gift is good.
Yeah.
It is very good. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
We should put it on our list if we haven't already.
Let me write this down.
I'm writing it.
Okay.
Oh, you got
We're
it.
both
Okay.
writing it down. It's on my notepad. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere else besides this notepad.
That's fair. It's somewhere. But these are the things that I've watched in the last, week and a half or whatever that have been incredible. The Vow, which is on HBO about the NXIVM cult. This was pretty good. This is what I was watching when I was, organizing shit. Totally crazy. Highly recommend. Very good.
Because I listened to a lot of podcasts about NXIVM, and so I didn't know if it was just going to be, the same.
It probably is about the same. I honestly, it did kind of drag. I think there were too many episodes. I think they could have condensed the episodes down by maybe, because I think there were 9. I think they probably could have cut out a good 3 or 4 to keep in. Maybe that's harsh. No, that sounds about right. I think they could have cut down significantly and kept in the story there. So, but it was good.
Yeah. And
then, I try so hard not to watch horror movies outside of what we watch because I don't want to watch it and then burn myself out on the movie if we're going to watch it again. Mm-hmm. And being someone who's trying to be cost effective, I try not to rent them twice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm always stuck. I'm like, oh, I can't watch this because we might watch it for the podcast or whatever. But I threw that shit out the window for the movie Possessor. Okay? I did it. Because I just was like, I want to watch this movie so bad. I have to. And I really fucking liked it. And I think we should watch it at some point and talk about it because I think there's a lot there to talk about. But I just recommend it. Jade would not watch it with me after I told him that it was done by Brandon Cronenberg, who's David Cronenberg's son. And David Cronenberg did Videodrome, maybe, if I'm remembering correctly. Sometimes I mix these guys up, but he's known for body horror. And
what's body horror?
Body horror is The Thing or The Fly, are very prominent examples of body horror, and it's where it's
your body
stuff with
changes
the body, kind of, or it's just horrific imagery in relation to the body.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Alien, parts of Alien maybe probably would be considered body horror.
When the alien comes out of the guy's. Oh, okay. Wouldn't that be everything?
Yeah.
Though,
I think there are parts that to a lot of different things, but there is definitely a different vibe, I think, when you're watching something that is so specifically focused on it. But this movie was weird. This movie is sci-fi horror. It's set in the future, and it's also a body horror. So it's all of those things all in one.
Okay.
And it was really good. I liked it.
All right, but I shouldn't watch it because we're going to do it.
Probably at some point. Okay. I think there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, you should
cool.
hold on that. And then the other one that's in that realm is Upgrade. I watched Upgrade finally. This has been out for a long time, and it finally is able to be rented now on Amazon. And I watched this with Jade and his
family,
and it's it's less of a horror, but it is directed by Lee Winnell, who did The Invisible Man that we reviewed. And he also is a really good friends with James Wan, and so they did Saw together, the first Saw.
Oh, and okay.
So it's not a horror movie per se, but it has some very violent moments in it, and it was good. It's really more of an action, sci-fi action movie. But it was fun.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice.
Okay, sorry. I watched a lot, obviously.
No, that's good. That's really, really good. I love it. I have something I want to share with you guys, but I'm going to have to share it later. It is, my daughter is very into anime and these like, specific anime cartoons. And there was one evening it was Saturday night because they were waking up early to go to Flagstaff the next day. And she's like, I have to binge watch this show because one of her friends told her to watch it. And she said, they said that it was going to be too dark for me, but will you watch one of the episodes with me? So I watched the first episode. I was super tired. And then she stayed up till 4 watching the rest of them. It was so creepy. It was legit. Like I want to watch the entire thing. And that's not typically my thing. I want to watch all of it. And it was about, I texted her to find out what the name was because I don't remember, but it was about these, here it is. Promised Neverland. Promised Neverland.
Okay.
It was scary. Is about these kids that are like, I don't know everything fully, but they're in this orphanage and they think that they are, loved by this orphanage keeper and that, ultimately they want to find homes and that some kids have found homes, but really they're all being like, not breeded, but yeah, there's something going on. I don't know. I've only seen episode 1, but they're being sold to like these things that eat them. And I literally was scared as I watched it. At the end of it, I went, oh shit, that was good. Oh my God. Like I felt so creeped out and I was like, I definitely want to watch this. So again, I haven't seen the whole thing, but it's called Promised Neverland. And I believe it was on, it's either Hulu or Netflix. I think
it's on Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah. Yeah. Just check out the first episode and see if you're curious about the next ones. I thought it was really good.
Okay. I do like anime sometimes. It depends on, but I need for it to be dark. I need something like that to be happening, mm-hmm. I think, for me to enjoy it. I really like Attack on Titan. Like, Attack on Titan is, like, pretty dark and violent, bloody, and there's a lot of, like, mystery in it. It's so fucking weird. It's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, but I really like it. And I've seen, like, episodes of Death Note. I've never watched all of Death Note, but it's very dark, and I think I'd like it. I just haven't ever sat down to watch all of it, but I'll check that out because Jade likes anime a lot too, and so like I'm just never in the mood. It's like one of those things that I like some of it, but I'm never every once in a while, like once every 24 months, I'm like, I really want to watch a bunch of anime. Like, let's do it.
My daughter is so into it. That was all of her gifts were anime this year. I've seen.
I'll have to talk to her about anime because I do have a handful of things. Yeah, she's really so into it. She loves
Hunter x Hunter. I'm trying to see because I bought stuff from these different things. Hunter x Hunter, My Hero Academia, this volleyball one. Like her and her friends play volleyball and they have the outfits from this thing. Oh, she'd be so mad at me that I don't remember. Haiku.
Is this your oldest?
Yeah, it's my oldest.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe she wouldn't like the ones that I like because they're dark and scary. But she
might now because she's the one that watched all her friends were like, you're not going to like Promised Neverland. You're not going to like it. And she watched it and she binged it till 4 a.m. and loved it. I did like I've seen Ponyo and cried and I loved that movie. So usually when my kids, they know me pretty well and they'll be like, oh, you got to see this. I think that you'll like it. I do. But anyways, check it out. I'm going to watch the rest of it. Okay, we talked about a lot of stuff that we loved in regards to the content that other people are creating, and we're so happy that so many people are creating such awesome shit out there. We are going to talk about a few things that, just good things that happened to us overall, and I'm going to start it off because I think this is the top of mind for both Tawny and I, is this year Tawny and me, we met each other. We met each other through a course and became besties. And then the next great thing is we started Two Chicks in a Horror Flick. I mean, this has truly been a huge highlight of my entire year. It completely consumed me in a fabulous way that I didn't expect. We were like, let's just record an episode and see if we like it. And now it's like this whole operation that it's my favorite thing to do on a daily basis. So those are like my top two I wanted to mention. Oh, and then following right into that, we got up to 1,500 downloads, and now we're 1,500 plus.
We did. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
1,500 downloads. Wow.
People like listening to us talk about stuff. It's so cool. It's such an honor because we love talking about stuff. There's like no better thing in the world. We love doing this, and then people like to listen to it. God.
Yes.
We're so lucky.
Totally. Like Felicia said, though, really, like, this has given back a little bit of my passion for video production and, like, you know, video as a medium. Like, I just, you know, obviously it's what I went to school for. I was stoked about it, and I am still stoked about it, but, you know, doing it on a day-to-day basis in a very, like, corporate environment, spoiler alert, sucks the soul out of it for you. I'm sure you could see that coming. And so, well, I should say for me, it did. It just, you know. And so I just ended up, and even though I've loved horror my entire life, it's just something I've loved since I was a child in a weird, very fucked up way. And so it's like, I even got to the point with that I was just watching stuff so passively. Like, just like, oh, put it on. It's the next thing, you know. Watch it, okay, whatever, watch the next thing. It was like I was just consuming horror, movie, TV shows, content, whatever, just so passively. That's the only word that I can come up with. Yeah. And so actually sitting down and talking to you and watching it with intent has, like, lit a fire back in me about it. And that is, like, so wonderful and so beautiful. And also I just love to connect with you and with other people.
Yeah.
Like, that's just been a huge, awesome part of this year is getting to just be a part of a community online. You know, obviously in person too. Like, everywhere I go, I meet somebody who loves horror just because I am not going to shut up about it. So, like, there's always people. But, like, this year especially, because we're not going out into the world, we're connecting more online. It's just been so fun. And I agree totally. Like, it has consumed me too. It's so much time, and I love it. I'm not upset about how much time we spend. You know, I was thinking today, I was like, damn, you know, like, I spend an average of probably 5 hours editing each one of our episodes, because we also have video, right, that we edit for YouTube. And then you have to think about the time commitment as far as, like, watching the movie, taking notes, doing the research, sitting down to record, and then editing, and then writing show notes, uploading. Like, all of that takes a really long time, and it's the fucking best. It just gives a little bit of, like, I don't know, structure or something. Like, I just love it. It's so much fun, and I just agree wholeheartedly that meeting you has been one of the best things this year.
I'm gonna cry.
And getting to do this with you it's such an honor. It's so fun. And who knew? If somebody had told us, you know, when did we first meet? Like, probably, you know, 9-10 months ago or something. Like, oh, you too, you're gonna go and make a horror podcast. We'd be like, what? No way. Yeah. And it's just fun.
It's so much fun, and we really, I feel like, stayed true. Like, we had conversations, should we do this differently? Should we stop doing this, you know? And we're like, no, let's stay true to who we are and what we want to do in this space. And people are responding, and it's just so great. I totally agree. Yeah. On here, I also have the awesome horror community that we've met on Instagram and in our Facebook group. It's so fun. It's just so fun, and it's horror, and it's such a loving community. It's like the most supportive and engaged, and supportive is the perfect word, because they take our stuff and they share it and they talk about listening to it, like, on this level that I've never seen on social media. Everybody's supporting each other instead of coming from a space of, oh, I'm purely competing with that person, so I don't want to shout them out. I don't want to talk about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because I want to excel. We're all just supporting each other, and it's so much fun.
Totally. And I said this, and I'm going to say it out loud for everybody else who might listen to this episode. But I said this to Michael from We Love Horror podcast. And I said, I cannot wait. I know this is way ahead of, I'm getting way ahead of myself here.
Do it. You know I love that.
Yes, I cannot wait until COVID is not as big of a deal. You know, like we've got the vaccine rolling, whatever. We can go back to actually gathering together in public spaces, and we get to have like podcast conventions, horror conventions, where we all actually get to go and like meet in person. I am living for that. Like that is like my fucking dream. I love to talk and connect with people, and the fact that we've been able to connect so thoroughly, like not even being able to be in each other's presence physically, is incredible. And so I cannot wait. Like, just how fun is it going to be for us all to be able to meet in person and like talk to each other? Oh, I listen to your podcast. Like, I totally agree with you. Like, I'm doing that on a constant basis, you know, like, God, what was it? Like 2 episodes today that I listened to. It was Homies of Horror and We Love Horror podcast that they talked about 13 ghosts. That's what it was. And I was like, fucking love 13 ghosts. Like, it's like that kind of shit where you get to meet in person and be like, yes, like I agree with you. Like, it's not all about agreeing, but you know what I mean? There's just this like connection point of, oh, that movie means a lot to me too, you know? And there's just something very special.
Even heated conversations, passionate conversations that are fun. I totally agree. Going to a convention or a festival or something like that, and, you know, doing the stuff that they do there, you know, with all the presenters and stuff, and then going out for dinner and just talking and having some drinks and it's going to be so much fun. It's insane. To add, holy shit, Tawny, when I get to meet you and record an episode in person together. That's going to be so good.
So much fun.
It'll be so fun, though, to get together. And that time we get together, we're going to record episodes. And that's just going to be great. I can't wait for that. And on top of that, talking about our community, being able to have Josh from Horror Movie Crew on our episode and then us being able to be on their podcast, that was such a cool experience. Tawny and I already talked about it. We want to do that again and again and again with other podcasts, with Horror Movie Crew. Again, we want to have them on ours. I know we're lined up to be on We Love Horror podcast early next year. We're going to have him on our podcast as well, and we want to do that with more people. It was just so much fun. The energy was great.
So much fun. Yeah. So we're going to start talking about that after our January set of movies, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But we're really excited for that.
So I have some kind of personal things. I'm really stoked that I found this. It's like an online platform, and I have an app called Commune, and it has a bunch of like just self-development, meditation, yoga, people like Danielle Lepore, Byron Katie, Russell Brand, just a lot of different things. I literally am on my 4th course. I have been eating that up, and I feel I use the stuff that I learn every day, and it has affected me so tremendously as far as just being calm and being present, looking things in a different way. I'm so grateful that I found that. And then I also took the leap and signed up for it. I'm very, very happy. I'm really excited about, I'm very happy about my new job. So I was laid off, but that was okay because I got to spend a couple months with my family and be like so present. And the podcast, I got to have the podcast as a full-time job for a couple of months. And it was awesome. And then I have this new job that is really cool. And I'm very excited and honored and blessed to have that opportunity. My husband just got a promotion.
Fun.
Yep. And so super stoked for him. And just a couple of other things. My daughter, I briefly mentioned it. She got accepted into a university to start next year. And she got 2 scholarships. So the first scholarship, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. Okay. So we just need to pay for room and board. Then she got another one. We don't even need to pay for that. I'm like, thank you so much. So 1 kid down. Now we have 2 more to go.
2 more, yeah.
Yes. And then last but not least, I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of, honestly, I'm sure there's a ton of other things, moments and things that I got to be a part of. But the last thing is that my family and my loved ones and my friends they're okay and they're healthy. Even the ones, I did have some that got COVID, but they were able to recover, and they're fine now and they're doing fine. So I'm very grateful for that as well.
Awesome. Those are all so good. I really should have made a list, but I'm just in true self nature. I'm just winging it right now. Oh God. Yeah, I mean, with COVID, and just to reiterate, like what you said earlier, Felicia, like this is not to take anything away from the negative thing. There's been a lot of bad, and this is not to take anything away from that. And I recognize that some of what I'm about to say is like I'm in a privileged position to be able to have this job opportunity that I do, but we got to work from home starting in March. And I never thought of that as being a possibility, and I always was a person who was like, oh, I could not work from home. Like, I just couldn't do it because I would be too lazy, like I couldn't focus, whatever. But actually, it's kind of been pretty incredible. Like, it's allowed me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. Like, be able to, like, this sounds so dumb and tiny, but like cook meals, right? Like, it's like just
with
the
no
time
commute.
like the time not spent driving home, even if it's a small commute, like 30, 20 minutes or whatever, it makes a really big difference. And I don't know, it's just put a lot of stuff in perspective for me. Like, why, we spend so much time getting ready and going to a place, working when it may not be totally necessary. And so that's just been really good for me in many different ways. But so I've really appreciated that. And I feel really like, even though I'm an entrepreneurial person, and I really eventually want to work for myself, I am very grateful for the job that I do have with the company that I'm at, because they are really great and they're very generous. And so all that has been like really good. And I will also say, like, this is the first year that I've started working with a coach. I have for years invested a lot in personal development. But a lot of that is like courses, books, things that are sort of telling you what to do. And I have never really invested in somebody who doesn't tell you what to do, because that didn't ever like make logical sense for me. Like, I was like, oh, I just need to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. But this is the first year that I ended up with a coach who just asked me a bunch of questions. Her name is Helena. She's fantastic. And it's just brought so much clarity to my life. And the biggest thing that I feel like I've gotten out of our sessions is she's really brought forth for me, like, what I value, and then how can I like incorporate those values in everyday life. So that has been like really life-changing, because I didn't realize how important connection and ease are for me. Like, ease is like super important. I just want to be able to be like, it's cool, that's like the absence of anxiety a little bit, and having the space to do whatever I want. Like, there's a lot that goes along with ease for me personally, just what that means for me. And then connection, like doing stuff with people, connecting with people, having conversations with people. I never realized how important that is to me, but it is incredibly important. That's why I'm so stoked to be doing this with you, and stoked to be talking to other people about like horror stuff specifically, and to meet in person. Like, all of that is just like really great. And having the clarity is really, really awesome. So that has been like a really positive thing that's happened this year.
I think the way you explain that reminds me of what I'm experiencing with that commune platform. Yeah. Even though it's not custom tailored to me, it's like you have all of these different coaches teaching you how to do stuff and see things in a different way. So that's very cool.
Totally. It's just helpful to I think, do that. I'm a big proponent, as you know, Felicia, of personal development. I think it's a awesome thing to do. And I will never stop trying to grow as a person just because I enjoy it. Like, it's just good, I think, always and to be introspective and to be mindful and to try to be present. Like, all of that is important to me. But I also agree that I'm very lucky in the way that all of the people that are close to me, just family, friends, like, I am grateful to know that everybody is in good health and, like, is not in dire straits. And that is crazy because I know a lot of people are, right? A lot of people are having a lot of issues just being able to make money, being able to survive at a base level. And so I'm very grateful for that. That's been very good. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I absolutely agree and hope that people that have had a very, very particularly even harder year than most and are still having a hard year, I hope 2020 just fucking rocks for them. In whatever that means,
2021.
Oh my God. I'm always going to get the years wrong. I hope 2021, I re-recorded the beginning because I opened up saying we were in 2021. I hope 2021 rocks for them. I hope just so much good stuff comes to them and that things turn around.
Yeah, totally.
Next, we are going to have Tawny give us some podcast stats. So let's hear about how Two Chicks in a Horror Flick did this year and everything that you have prepared.
Yes. Okay,
this
so
is the part that Tawny's prepared for.
Yes. I'm sorry. No,
it's good. I'm just kidding.
I'm like, I don't know. That's just in my nature. I'm like, I'll figure that out when I get
And you're the
to
one
it.
with the day off.
I know. I just, sorry. I just wing it, It's like if I over-prepare, it's like too much, and then I stress out because I over-prepare. So anyway, but this is what I put together. So let's start with the highest rated. The highest rated episodes that we went through the entire year. The top 3 are pretty obvious because we both give them 5s, so the average is 5. And it is Black Christmas, Antichrist, and Hereditary.
Nice. Yes. Okay, awesome.
Which is interesting. They are all very serious movies. And in a way, I'm very glad to have this podcast with you because I feel like we both are on the same wavelength as far as we do enjoy the same type of movies.
Yeah.
Like, we can appreciate, like, a horror comedy, but we're not, like, that's not our jam, Mm-hmm. Like, I listen to other people talk about those types of movies, and it's just not what we're into. I'm just not into, like, campy horror movie. I'm sorry. It's just not my thing. I just don't love it. And you either. Like, because here we are. These are our top-rated movies. So those were, like, obvious, so I pulled the next 2, just because I was like, obviously those are all 5s. It's no fun. I want to know some other rated ones. So number 4 is Train to Busan with 4.75.
Yeah.
Great one. And number 5 is Rob Zombie's Halloween with 4.66. And that is including Josh's score for that as well.
Nice. Oh, shit. Awesome. I love all of those. Yes.
But I'm sure none of that surprised you. Like, you knew because we were here talking about it. Can you guess our lowest rated?
Pet Sematary, the original.
That is definitely one of them.
Creepshow? No. Pet Sematary, the original. No, it's not. Okay. My mind went blank when you asked me that. That's the one that popped into my head like, oh, this one for sure.
It's definitely also, okay, so that was even the highest of all 3
of the
that
lowest?
I pulled for the lowest.
Okay.
Yeah. So Pet Sematary has a 2.25. Okay. 31, we both gave a 2.
Oh,
so it has an average of 2.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I know. That's how.
Oh, shit. And the next one you're about to say.
Say it.
The Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think I blocked those 2 out of my mind. They didn't even pop into my mind. I think Pet Sematary, it just was traumatic for me as well because I remember loving it so much. But yes, okay. I agree with that.
So I thought that was interesting. I don't think either one of us, I'm just going back to the list to double check because I pulled this up so that I could reference in case you had any questions. So feel free to hit me with some questions if you've got them. I don't think we gave anything like a 1 or lower at all. The lowest rated movie that you gave, do you know what it is?
The Lodge.
No.
No, not The Lodge. I don't know why I said that.
It is Pet Sematary, the remake. You gave it a 1.5. That's the lowest score that either of us have given any movie.
I really hated that movie. Wow. Wow, I gave that lower than the Poughkeepsie tapes? Oh, wow.
You did. That was a 1.5, and you gave the Poughkeepsie tapes a 2. We both
that
gave
was
the
early in the day. And
we both agreed that there were some really high highs in the Poughkeepsie tapes, and then there were some really low lows. Like some of the shit was like really great. So like I think it deserves a 2. Yeah. I think it stands. Yeah,
it stands.
Stands at a good rating. Yeah,
you're totally right.
But those are our lowest rated. I think Creepshow was pretty close though. Creepshow ended up at a 2.625.
Just barely squeaked through.
Even higher though than Sleepy Hollow, which was a 2.375. So
oh shoot.
Interesting. Okay, so can you guess, because I don't know, I'm just having fun asking you these questions, what our most watched decade was this year?
Decade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. For some reason I immediately went to what episodes people have watched, and I was like, geez, Tawny, why don't you ask me to do trig or geometry? I would say, I don't even know if this would be right. What is the decade of the 2000s? The 2000s.
Yeah, I think it'd be the 2000s.
The 2000s?
That's what I have written down. That's is close, but no.
The 90s?
No.
The 80s.
But also, this might be a trick question, because here's the thing. The 2010s don't exist for anybody in their memory, but it is the 2010s.
Oh, the 2010s. I didn't even know that was a thing, but yeah.
I don't know if it's a thing either. I might be making up that term.
No, it's got to be.
There might be a better term.
Okay, the 2010s, so I was very close.
You were close, yeah. And here's the breakdown. So we watched 2 movies from the 70s. The oldest movie we watched was Black Christmas. I said that a couple times in the episode, but if you didn't listen to it, that is the oldest movie at 1974. I'm just double checking. Oh, I didn't even write it in here. Okay, pretty sure it was 1974. We watched 4 movies from the 80s, 3 movies from the 90s, 6 from the 2000s, but 15 from the 2010s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's like 3 times as many movies almost as we watched from any other decade, like on average. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. For some reason, we were just drawn to that because I didn't think about it. I don't even think about what year it's made. I just see the movie and say, oh, we should watch this. You know, we talk about watching it. And then when we do the research is when I know when it was made.
Yeah, the year. I mean, I bet I had something to do with that just because those are probably like, and actually I'm looking at the list and they are movies that I've picked. So that makes sense.
Are mine the 80s?
Let's see. So we have Poltergeist, yep. Creepshow, which was actually a listener submission. Yeah. Pet Sematary, the original, that was you. And Gremlins, which I feel like was a combo. And we also watched 3 movies from 2020, from this year. So we really didn't watch a ton. We didn't watch a bunch of new movies, which sucks. I have like a handful of movies that I still want to watch from 2020, but
me too.
Yeah. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. You gave almost double the amount of 5s that I did. You gave 7 5s this year, and I gave 4.
Oh.
So we're both very picky. We're picky about doling out our 5s.
But I gave 7 5s.
You gave 7 5s? Do you know what they are?
Wow.
I'll tell you.
Antichrist. Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one? Yeah.
Yep.
Host. No,
Ooh.
not Host.
Yeah, not Host.
Black Christmas. Black Christmas. Train to Busan?
Yep.
Yep, Train to Busan. Hereditary?
Yep.
And, I was at 5 and I'm like, yes. What? I don't know the other ones.
Halloween the original.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, okay.
Which I've thought, in retrospect, I'm like, should I change mine for Jacob's Ladder to a 5? I don't know. Because I really liked Jacob's Ladder in a way that I didn't expect to. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. You were
That's cool.
More
What
giving.
are yours?
You were more giving than I was.
I am more along for the ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine are the top 3 again, so it's Hereditary, Antichrist, and Black Christmas. And then I also gave The Descent a 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So our most downloaded episode is Veronica, which is surprising. And 66% of the people who downloaded our Veronica episode is from the Netherlands. I'm like, who are you? Who are you, our Netherlands listeners?
Oh my gosh.
We don't know where you came from.
Please find us on Instagram and comment. It's us. We
want to know.
Yeah, we want to know.
Where are you? I was like, what happened? I think it's our only episode to break 100 downloads. Of all time. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Where are all these downloads coming from? They're like all from the Netherlands. It's really weird. So, I mean, it's just weird because...
We want to know who you are. Netherlands peeps.
Yeah, I think a huge amount, I think it's like 80-something% of our downloads overall, like all the episodes of all time, are from the United States. And so that's why it's so weird to have such a very specific... in a different country. And so, yeah, like, we want to know who you are. Like, comment on our Instagram.
How fun is that? That's fun.
So the other 4 of our top 5 most downloaded, number 2 is Hereditary. Number 3 is our intro episode, which really shocked me. I didn't think that many people would go back and listen to our intro episode. Part of me is like, what the fuck did we say? I should probably go back and listen to that again.
Oh, shoot. I don't know if I want to.
Number 4 is Poltergeist, which makes sense. It's a very popular one. And 5, this one also shocked me, As Above, So Below. Because that's like not a super well-known or liked movie.
Oh,
but,
interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
I bet that makes you happy.
It does.
You love that movie.
I do. But that's all the stats I have, so.
Well, out of those... I smiled because I really wanted to also do the top favorite movies that we reviewed. Like, what are our top 3 to 5? I have 5 written down here, so let's just roll with that. Unless you only have 3, that's cool too, because that's what I originally said was 3.
Okay.
Movies that we watched. So our favorite movies that we watched this year. And when you were talking, I was like, oh, shoot. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe this isn't as surprising. Because my top 5 were Hereditary, Black Christmas, Train to Busan, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and Host. I just freaking loved that movie.
Okay.
Those are my top 5 that we watched this year.
Okay, so let me go back and do my top 5. First of all, I just want to say also that I regret heavily not rewatching Hereditary. Like, I almost am like, maybe I should rewatch Hereditary and we should do a part 2 or something. Because I feel like I really cheated. I feel like I cheated the system. Like, it was, like, not fair. It's, like, the only movie I haven't watched.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
That we then talked about.
I remember you talked about that you don't think you could watch it again, but then I thought you ended up watching it.
No, I didn't. I didn't end up rewatching it.
That's really good.
I've only watched
you talked about it like you watched it.
It's because it had such an effect on me that I couldn't even forget. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much of an intense movie it was. And so I was just like, I don't know if I need to watch it again. And I don't want to because it was such an experience. But now I feel like, now it's been enough time. Now it's been like 2 years, I think, since I watched it. And I'm like, okay, now it's been enough time. I think I can handle it. But I just regret that. And now I'm like, oh, I feel like
we could do it
I don't
again.
know.
I'll watch it again.
Okay. But anyway, so I didn't watch that one, but I was glad that you really liked it. Other ones that I was so glad to watch, these are probably all going to be primarily ones I hadn't seen before. Jacob's Ladder was just, I can't believe I hadn't seen it before, and I'm so glad that I watched it. It was so good. Antichrist, again, I mean, I had never even heard of Antichrist, I don't think, until you were talking about it. And I'm so glad I watched that movie. Like, it just was it had such an impact on me, and we both obviously loved it because we gave it 5s. It just was incredible. Like, I don't think I would have ever watched it had we not done this podcast and had you not suggested it. So how many is that? 2?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, 3, I agree. Host was so good. So good. It was such a good 2020 movie too. It was like so just perfect for the time. If you haven't watched this movie, do yourself a favor, do it right now before the year's over. Not even that you have to. There's no like actual time limit, but like just to commemorate 2020, just to send it off with a good movie. If you haven't seen Host, you need to
watch it this week. Maybe watch it on New Year's Eve right before, midnight. It's only an hour. It's super quick. Excuse me.
So short.
Yeah, it's a short
It's
watch.
on Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do it.
So good. And then I'll also say, God, The Lodge. I know you didn't like it, but I loved The Lodge.
That's
I just am so enamored with that movie. And the more I think about it, I'm like, God, I love that. Okay, so what am I at? Like 3? I'm not even keeping track. Sorry.
3.
I'm going to do 4 because the last one is Black Christmas, of course. I just am like, that movie was fucking probably my top favorite. No, that's not true. I'd say it was my second favorite after Antichrist. I loved watching Antichrist. It was such a fucking experience. I feel like it opened me up to a whole new world, right? Like, I've never watched any Lars von Trier movies, and now I'm like, I watched Melancholia. I'm stoked to watch Nymphomaniac and Nymphomaniac 2.
It's going to make you blush, just so you know. It's good that you guys live alone. Because when I was watching that movie, I felt when people like my husband, even if my husband walked in, because he wasn't watching it with me, like I was watching pornography or something. Like, I don't know. Yes. I felt embarrassed. But yes. And Melancholia. Oh, how did you like that?
Oh, I liked it, but the ending I didn't love. But mostly just because. I love
that ending. I think it's because it's something that scares me.
It's sad. It's really sad, which I shouldn't have expected anything different, right? Like, yeah. I knew what to expect, but I just still, I don't know. But I felt like there wasn't the depth that there was in Antichrist, right? Like, Melancholia was good, but I feel like in the ending and the wrap up, everything was just sort of shallow compared to Antichrist. So I'm excited to continue to watch. So anyway, that's just, Melancholia was good. That's a good point. To Antichrist.
I watched Melancholia first and loved it. That's something that I'm very scared of, like end of world type thing. And I thought just like the lead up to it, like it's gonna happen, like stressed me out. So I loved that movie. Dread. But then that made me want to watch Antichrist, which I agree is a lot more depth. I find it interesting, the movies, so it's fun. I didn't put on my top 5 Antichrist and Jacob's Ladder, even though I absolutely loved them, because I saw them already. So for me, all the ones I listed were ones I had never seen and was really surprised about and enjoyed, and so were the ones that you listed, minus Hereditary, right? Or you didn't list that because you didn't really see it.
I threw it in as like an honorable mention, but yeah, I didn't rewatch it, so.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now is the time for listener Q&A. This is legit going to be off the cuff because I was working all day. Tawny sent me the questions and I wrote them all down with the intent to answer them beforehand and did not get the chance to answer them beforehand. My daughter wanted to play Among Us before we did the podcast. So I have the questions here all written down. So I'll just wing it. Did you prepare beforehand?
I read the questions, but not really. I don't know.
I read them. I just didn't write down answers to them.
Me either.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we'll just be equally winging it here.
All right. So the first two are from Horror Movie Crew, our Horror Movie Crew friends. And so the first question is, what's the most rewarding part of podcasting? For me, this is hard. There are so many, and I think Tawny and I kind of covered it in the beginning. There's so many rewarding parts, like being able to connect with other people and being able to share our passion for horror movies with the world, being able to talk about it, having people like to listen to it and be engaged, and connecting with other people and building a community is so awesome. So all of those things are so awesome. And then on an even deeper level, more personal and deeper level, it's been an incredibly, and I've talked about this before on other podcasts, not horror related, healing and empowering thing for me personally, to go from I want to do this, but I'm absolutely terrified to doing this, to recording our first episode, and then full blown, like, this is like, this is a business in the sense that we take it seriously like that. We plan everything out. We do everything that we do. We put as much focus and energy and love into it like we would if we were running our own business. And so that, and then being able like to connect with people, it's very empowering. It's very healing. And so I know I said a lot of things all in one, but that would be what I say.
Well, and you even have like an added layer of like not just our podcast, but your podcast, the Here podcast, right? Like that is a podcast where you got to share your story and share other people's stories. Like that is so, like that just goes along with the last part of what you're saying, just being able to share, and it's just so healing, like you said, like it just opens up a lot. And I could definitely see that for you.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the first podcast I a few months before me and Tawny decided to do a podcast, I did a podcast called Here with Felicia Connor, and it was all about providing, or it's still going, I still do it. It's all about providing a space for people who've experienced trauma, or like substance abuse, just all different types of things, a space to share their stories. So it takes away the power that story has had over them, and also to inspire others to know that they're not alone, and to inspire them to heal and to live their best lives. So that has been tremendous. And the Two Chicks and a Horror Flick is the same on a different level, right? It's still sharing our passion, connecting with people. And it's amazing. My heart is like beating right now. It's just been so amazing. And I absolutely love podcasting. I could absolutely see myself, and hopefully you agree, and we're both doing it together, like Joe Rogan every day, launching episodes, a crew is editing them, and this is what we're just doing every single day. That's my dream life.
Totally. 100%. Yeah. And I agree. My answer to this question is also the same. Just like the connection piece, I think, is the most rewarding part. It's almost like, and I said this a little bit earlier, but it's almost like we're meeting in person and chatting with each other about like the things that we really love, but we're doing it online. And so it's like we're talking, you and I, and we get to connect on a personal level about what we like, what we dislike, just our lives. Like we really, honestly, it's almost like we have a forced weekly hangout.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like, oh, I've pinned your ass down for a once a week hangout and you can't get out of it. And like,
yes,
I love it because it's like we just get to chat and talk about what happened in our week and what's going on. And so that is so fun. And then even beyond that, again, I'm kind of reiterating what we said earlier, but there's this whole section of people, like other people who are doing horror podcasts, that I listen to some of their episodes and listen to what they're saying, and I'm like, I fucking love that movie. You know, like, oh, I love that. I totally agree with those people. You know, it's like, I also love The Village. Like, I also hate this movie or love that movie or whatever. It's just the connection piece and having people comment and say, oh, like, I also love this. There's just something about that human connection over a very specific thing that I don't know if rewarding is the right word for it, but I would say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's rewarding. I think that's great. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, the next question Horror Movie Crew asked us is, if you could collaborate with any other podcaster, who would it be? Okay, so I thought a lot about this. I thought about it all day. So I have a 3-part answer that will not take long. The first part is, I would love to all of the different, but first let me ask, because I overthink. Does collaborate mean like, let's do gear together, or let's do like a fundraising event, or could it just be like it's just supporting? Collaborating is just supporting one another, right? Like shouting out each other, or
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about it this deeply. I just thought it was like, oh, if you could be on a podcast, or like have that podcaster on your podcast.
Okay,
whatever.
that's
like,
what I thought too. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I don't have to come up with some business idea or some fundraising event. Okay, cool. So first, is all of the podcasters that we're really connected with on Instagram. So all the podcasts that I would love to have them on our show, and I would love to be on their show. So we're throwing it out there. All of the different podcasts that support us and we support them, and we're constantly in connection. You know who you are, and maybe even some, and not even maybe, and some new ones that are going to find us, and we're going to find them. I would love for them to be on our show and us to be on their show. So that's the first one. There was too many to list. Okay.
Yeah.
The second is, and Tawny and I talked about this, and for any true crime podcasts that are out there, we would love to do an episode with a strictly true crime podcast where we review a movie based on a true crime. And the true crime podcast does the research for the crime, and we do the research for the movie, but they watch the movie and we share. And so anybody else that's like, wow, that's a good idea, do it, because I'd love to listen to it. So that's something. Yes. And then my third big audacious, I would love for us to be on the Joe Rogan Experience, because
of course.
Multiple reasons. I think it would be badass just to sit there and talk to him. First of all, just to talk about, like, I dig all the, the majority of all the different stuff that he talks about. So I don't know what the topic would be. I haven't thought that far into it. But I would love to talk with him about what we do, bring horror to the absolute masses because it's Joe Rogan, and then just sit there and talk with him for 3 hours, because I think we would be a 3-hour level. Another thing that means to me, like in a vision board way, is that we have shared our love and passion for horror with so many people that it reached the level of being able to be on the Joe Rogan Experience show. And also at that point, we're probably doing this full time all day, every day, if we're at that level. So that is mine.
Okay. I agree with all of what you just said. And of course, we always talk about Joe Rogan. So I'm like, of course, we would totally love to collaborate with him for sure. I would like to add that I absolutely love Faculty of Horror. That podcast is so good. Mm-hmm. And they just seem like such big dogs to me. Like I'm like, oh, like I get like starry-eyed about it. Like I'm like, oh God, like they're so huge and they're like doing all kinds of crazy shit and they like know so much. Like their episodes are very analytical. They're very like film theory and like digging into the themes and stuff, and that's not really like, Felicia and I have talked about it, like we like a little bit of that stuff, but we're not gonna like spend all of our time. It's just not what we love. It's not what we love to do and talk about and like dig into all the time. Some episodes I think we do, some movies, right? Like Antichrist is a meaty fucking episode. We could have like a series of episodes on Antichrist alone.
Yeah.
But other movies are not so much that way for me, and I just think there's a level where you start to try to read so much into something that's not there. You know, like it's like you're really stretching it. So anyway, that's just not our like thing, but Faculty of Horror does a really good job of that, and they're so cool. I just love them. They're like a really great podcast, but
they're really good. Tawny told me to listen to them, and I did. I listened to the Halloween episode, and that's where I first heard about Black Christmas. They were talking about it, and then I wanted to watch it.
I just love the authenticity of sitting down and talking to people. So, like, it's just like anybody who's willing to talk to us, I will talk to you. Like, we will do it. We will sit down and talk to you just because it's so fun.
Yeah, we were on the Creative Commute. That was so much fun.
Oh,
like,
God,
it doesn't even have to just be a horror podcast. Well, Joe Rogan's not a horror podcast, but like all different types of, I mean, I had so much fun talking about really how podcasting changed our lives. That was fun. So we weren't specifically talking about scary movies, but we were talking about podcasting and how this podcast has made such a big impact in our lives. And that was so much fun. Yeah. Hey, anybody. Yeah. We want to be on your show.
We just love talking to people, which is just, it really is. Like I've always said, it's like one of my favorite pastimes. Yeah. Talking to people and watching shit are my two favorite things to do.
Me too. So literally we found our calling. Like, we just got to find a way to do this full time, all day, every day, because this truly is our passion. Because I agree with you, watching stuff and talking to people.
That was it. That was my last one, is fucking that Eli Roth, The History of Horror. They have the show, but they also have a podcast. I can't remember if I talked about this when we were talking about it. So they have these interviews with people, and they cut clips of it and put it in the show, but then they have the full interview available on podcasts. Like Shudder, I think, is the one who, Umbrella does it all. So, of course, we'd love to collaborate with Shudder at some point, of course.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
But it would be so fucking... Like, I was thinking, like, how do they find these people to be, like, interviewed on the History of Horror show or the podcast or whatever? And I'm in the middle of listening to the Rob Zombie episode, which, by the way, shout out to Josh. I need to send him a message and just be like, you're going to love this episode. Like, you need to listen to it. Because listening to Rob Zombie just talk about, like, making his movies is so awesome. He seems so down to earth. I think Rob Zombie's one of those people that you can be like, oh, he could seem like a pretentious dick, but like not, he really does not come across that way in this podcast episode. He seems so fucking cool, down to earth, and just like a chill bro who likes to have fun. That sounds really rude, but I didn't mean it rude. Like, he just seems like a cool guy who just likes to have fun, and having the same people on set every time because they get it and they just want to make a good project, and like, that is so cool. It's like so fun. And I listened to the one with Megan Fox too, and that was really good. So that would be an incredible, like, that's like top, like, I can't even, that's like vision board, like what you were talking about. Like, I would shit my pants if we ever got the chance to talk to Eli Roth and or his producer about horror movies in particular and be on that series or that podcast or whatever. I'd shit my pants. I'd shit a brick.
Not you'd shit your pants if. You'll shit your pants when we are on that podcast.
You're right. I'm really past due for a pants shit.
Yes.
For a shit in my pants.
That would be a worth it one. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even know about that one. Okay. Very cool. All right. So I'm going to let you answer this one first because I answered the last two first. Homies of Horror. So literally all the people on here that have podcasts, we like to be on your podcast and you're welcome on ours. So Homies of Horror, they asked us, what's your go-to horror movie that always puts you in a good mood?
I would just want to apologize for taking so long on that last question, but, whatever. We had to answer it fully.
No, that was fun. Don't apologize.
This isn't... I want to go to my go-to and just say Silent Hill. Like, I love watching Silent Hill. And I'm just the whole time I'm like, fuck, I love this movie. And I would also say that I recently rewatched Hostel, and I fucking love Hostel. Like, I was just the whole time, I was like, this is a great fucking movie. Like, it was just like, Jade would come out to, like, get some food or whatever, and I'm like, this movie is fucking good, though. Have you seen this movie? It's like, yes.
So you said...
What about you?
Silent Hill and Hostel? Okay. The Strangers. I've seen it so many times. Like, really so many times, and it just scares me. I just really love a really good scary movie that makes me feel scared, so I love that one. And I would have to say the original Halloween, because that's more when I saw puts a smile on your face, because that's something I could just put on, and I'm not sitting there screaming and like sweating. That is just like, and I think Black Christmas will now be I think that
Yeah.
will be something for me that I'll pop on and smile like we do Elf or, every Christmas when we watch Elf or, The Office or Parks and Rec, just the things you play. That's kind of how I felt with this question, that the thing you can always go to and play that'll put a smile on your face.
Yeah. I realized that as we're talking about this, we probably should be talking about like horror comedies. Because like
In
yes,
that case,
we're
I would say Dale and Tucker versus Evil. I loved
me
that.
too. 100%. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great movie. And Krampus, like, but that one's very seasonal, so like I wouldn't just put it on randomly, but yeah, that puts a smile on my face too. I like that movie.
Yeah, actually, now that you reframed it, and I'm a hashtag overthinker, would legit put a smile on my face always is Dale and Tucker and Dale versus
Tucker and
Evil.
Dale versus Evil.
Dude, love those
Yeah.
guys. That's a good one. Okay.
Such a good one. Okay, do you want me to read the next one?
Oh, sure. I didn't know you had them listed because I have them all written down. Go.
Oh yeah, I put them down also. Okay, so this next one is from Dead Girl Superstar. Ashley is her name. What is the episode you feel most proud of, and what's the episode you dreaded filming the most?
Okay, so the episodes, I'm going to pick two that I feel most proud of would be Antichrist, because I think it was heavy and I think we had really great conversation around it. I'm really proud of that one. And I do also want to mention Black Christmas because we were just both so amped. And so it was fun. It was fun to go back and forth on that episode. How about you?
Yeah, I agree totally with those two. Those are the two I was going to say.
Nice.
Is because, and also, you did such great research on both of those movies that it flowed in a way that like we both were so excited about both of those, and it just was so much fun. That's the only way I can describe it. It just flowed. Like it's just you're in the flow of those episodes. Like when we were talking, I said you.
Yeah.
We
it
both.
felt in the flow. I totally agree.
Yeah.
There was no, it was really, those ones most definitely I'm the most proud of.
Yeah, agreed.
That I dreaded the most. Even though I rated the original Pet Sematary the lowest, I didn't really dread it. Because sometimes it's really fun to share what you absolutely didn't like about a movie. You can get just as passionate and amped to share what you didn't like as what
true.
you did. So I wouldn't say that. I would think what dreaded is hard because I did dread Antichrist in the sense that, not dread though. Like I was really excited, but I was very nervous. I was so nervous because of the content. But not, I didn't dread it at all. Obviously I've been wanting to watch that movie with Tawny, so I was very excited. I guess the one I was least excited to review, there was two. So I would say, since I gave two to the top, was the newer Pet Sematary. I didn't. First of all, I had a feeling you liked it, so I felt bad to crap on it. But also, I just wasn't very excited to talk about it. And the other one would be Creep Show. But Creep Show, I was more excited, not even excited, but there were some elements about it. But it was just kind of like, I didn't know going into it really what I was going to say about it. So I kind of dreaded it in that sense because I didn't have a lot to say. I wasn't super passionate about it. I was kind of bored by them. So I knew it wasn't going to be that fun to record. So that's what I would say.
Okay, I have three, and they're very similar. For sure, Creep Show, and the original Pet Sematary, and both of these were listener-voted movies. And so I was dreading them in the way that it's almost like you don't want to let people down. Like when people love something, you want to love it with them. Yes. Right? Just like how we pick movies for each other and we hope to God the other one loves it. Like you just, even if they don't like it, you're like, okay, that's fine. But the obvious hope is there that they love it. And you get to love it together and like have this moment of like, holy shit, isn't that great? Like I think that's always the goal. And so when we watched those two movies and they were voted on by other people, I didn't love them. And I was so dreading recording because I didn't want to make anybody upset or like, you know what I mean? Like shit on something that they love. And so those are probably the top two. And then by extension as a third one, for the same reasons, I'll say Poltergeist. Because Poltergeist is so revered and people love that movie. And they have such scary, you know, remembrances. I don't know what I was about to say. Memories about that movie. And I just don't want to like shit on that, but I didn't love it. And so all of those movies I dreaded recording because I personally didn't love them. But I don't want anybody ever, and I don't think we ever, Felicia, sit down and say like, if you like this movie, you're a fucker. You know, like, or like,
God, no.
Fuck you. Like, you're dumb. Like, you're dumb if you love this movie. Like, we never say that.
Never.
And I think that is, you know, when I think of other people being, like, elitists about things, like, that's what I don't like. I don't like when people say, like, if you love this movie, you're stupid. Or if you hate this movie, you're stupid. Or whatever. Like, and so we never say that. And I think we just inherently don't feel that way about, you know, movies
it's
and
absurd.
things in general. It's like, you can
if
have
you don't
whatever
have
opinion you want to have.
Yeah, if you don't have the same opinion as me, it doesn't make... I hate that. I'm not going to go on a tangent, I promise, but I hate that in general about anything. About anything.
Me too.
About religion, about politics, about music, about anything. If you have a different opinion than me, you just have a different opinion. We have different tastes. Your opinion isn't less. You're not a terrible person because of it. You don't have bad taste. You just have different taste than me. And I totally respect that you love, and you and me do this all the time. You loved a movie, The Lodge, and I didn't. You know what I mean? But even in our episode, you're explaining the things you liked, and I can see that. I can understand that. I still didn't like it, but still. Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with you 100%. I remember having nervous stomach recording episodes for the listener picks that I didn't like, because again, I want to like it. They're sharing, they're saying, hey, watch this movie. I loved it.
Yes.
And I hate saying I didn't.
Exactly. It's like you're bearing your soul. Hey, I hope you like this. Right? Like,
yeah,
please like it with me. And yeah, I agree totally that was the most dreaded top 3 for me. That was such a good question. I just was like, man, that's really deep.
Yeah.
Like, I did dread some of them, and we were nervous, and you can even tell, like, in those episodes, Pet Sematary, the original, and Creepshow, both of us are like, yeah, like, what? I don't know. There's not much to say, because we just didn't, it's not like we want to sit here and, like, be a dick about it, but we didn't love it either. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
Yeah, that was really good. Do you want to read the next one? I want to
do
2
okay.
each.
So the first one from Kara that I will read.
I don't even know how to answer this.
I don't either. I thought about it a little bit, but here we go. She said, fuck, marry, kill Jason, Annabelle, and Krampus.
Like the choices.
I know.
Annabelle, Annabelle and Krampus. Like, Jason, okay, you know. Like, couldn't it have been Michael? Because I know what I'd pick for Michael. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But, no, but,
You're not
Jason,
kidding. You're not kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm not. But Jason, Annabelle, and Krampus. Like, this little freaky-ass doll. That big, ugly skin. Okay. So...
That is such a good question. Such a good one.
Why don't you answer it first? Do you know?
Okay, I'll just start somewhere.
Okay, start somewhere.
So I feel like I would. I feel like I would marry Annabelle, and here's why: because she's the most versatile. Okay, like I want to lock that bitch down, okay? Like, I want to be with her for the rest of my life because there's so much that she can do. She's like a doll that is possessed. So I don't know, I just want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to have a union with somebody, it's going to be the person with the most ability, okay?
You're right.
I'm looking to be a power couple, okay?
No, that's a really good one because okay. So I knew my kill was Krampus. So I don't want to marry him or fuck him. So he was my kill. Okay. And then Annabelle and Jason, I was flip-flopping between Mary and I'm just going to say screw because I just keep saying fuck. I was going back and forth. But you're right. That helped me because Annabelle, you probably don't just want to fuck her and leave. Ooh.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Right? Right? And Jason,
that'd be bad for you.
Mad. He doesn't really leave that camp very often. So you could kind of just bail and it would be okay.
True.
So I'm going to say, fuck Jason, marry Annabelle, kill Krampus.
I want to say the same thing, but I don't want to say the same thing as you. So maybe I'll say the opposite and I'll come up with a reason why.
What? You're going to...
Keep saying what you were saying.
You're going to have sex with Krampus? Is this what you're picking? Ew. Well, maybe he's handsome under that mask.
We don't know. We haven't seen his face.
He is kind of clever, and he does have a little bit of a heart.
He has a little bit of a sense of humor also.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, maybe... I just feel like Jason... This is going to be blasphemy for some people. I just feel like Jason is so fucking useless. I think that's why I'm going to say...
But you don't know Jason. What he's got in his pants.
Well, I mean, that's true.
Krampus is old. Look at his hands. Ew.
But you're saying we don't know. We don't know what's under that mask.
As long as he doesn't touch you with his hands while he's
That's
doing
true.
it.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Or I
don't know. Maybe I'm into that.
That mask with the long jaw, in your face.
Unmoving. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to stick with it, though, because I think... Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Just
okay.
A, to be different, and B, because I just think Jason, it's what? I don't know. I just have never been, a fan of Jason. So it's what is he? He just walks around, he's real slow, and that's it. He kills people, but...
Krampus might be a cool one to marry. He's got that cool snow globe collection.
Oh, that's a really good point.
He's pretty powerful, too. And then Annabelle just kill,
Oh, yeah, because you got to get her out of the way. She's
manipulative and...
Yeah. Okay, I like that
would be a
answer,
toxic
too.
Relationship.
Yeah, totally. I also agree that it would be good to marry Krampus because of the same reason. He's a magical being. There's probably a lot of perks, that come with being married. He might be real good looking.
Okay, so I'm changing mine, and this is my final answer.
Okay.
I would fuck Jason, I would kill Annabelle, and I would marry Krampus.
Okay.
Final answer.
I'm about that girl power, so I'm sticking with my original, and I'm going to marry Annabelle. And I'm going to kill Jason, because what does he even do? We don't know. And then I'm going to fuck Krampus. That's where we're going to land today.
All right, the next question submitted by Kara again, is which subcategory horror movie do you think you'd be able to survive? I loved this twist on this question. Me too. So what do you think you'd be able to survive? And so it'd be psychological horror, slasher, what are some other ones?
Yeah, she also wrote psychological, but also I'm thinking zombie, or, we've got... Of course, body horror, maybe. Body horror is maybe.
Survive horror comedy. I'm sure I could. Okay. Because it's just absurd. But not so maybe not horror comedy, because I think that's a given. I think anybody could, as long as that's...
Well, and any subgenre could be horror... Why can't I say this? Horror comedy.
Okay. I think that I could survive a slasher.
Okay.
I think I could survive a slasher. One of my biggest fears I mentioned before is losing my mind. I think I would crumble in a psychological, if I was in that house, remember the house movie, whatever that was called?
You Should Have Left.
You Should Have Left. I would lose my mind. Jacob's Ladder. Yeah, all of that I wouldn't survive. And I don't think I'd survive zombies either. I would try. But they just keep going and going and going. I mean, I know you could blow their head off. There's just so many. It depends on what zombie movie you're in.
Yeah.
I think I could do a slasher. Someone just coming in trying to, especially all the slashers that I've seen. I think I could survive it. Not The Descent, though. I would have died. I don't think that's a slasher.
I don't think so either. I would categorize The Descent as maybe a monster? Like a creature feature?
I don't think I would survive monsters.
Yeah. But I think similar to monsters, sometimes you, like the slasher, you've got one person coming after you for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you have to defeat. Like that's a good bet, right?
Yeah.
But so I hear what you're saying versus like zombies. I'm going to say zombie. I'm going to say I'm most likely to survive a zombie like subgenre, like situation, like whatever the situation, because I feel like I've seen enough to know, like, oh, just, like tick, 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 you've got all the boxes. If they bite you, you're fucking dead. Shoot them in the head. Hordes are a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's, and then from there, it just becomes a survival thing. So I would say that, because I just don't think anybody stands a chance against supernatural.
Mm-mm.
Like, ghosts or you're possessed.
Like that Veronica thing? What could she have done?
You can't fight it. There's no way.
Yeah, I think maybe, like, I didn't choose zombie because I just really don't want to have to face zombies.
See, I'm, like, stoked to face zombies. Like, I don't know if we've ever
I'm going to your house,
then,
if there's an apocalypse.
I have dreams about, like, zombie apocalypse type shit, and it sounds scary, but it's actually very exciting. Like, they're never nightmares for me. Like, I'm just, like, fucking stoked to be, like, fighting off
like
zombies
Tomb Raider.
and, like, surviving. Yes, I'm, like, kicking the shit out of zombies and finding places to bunker down and, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's always my dream. Yeah. So I'm never, like, sad or
you have, like, a tight latex outfit on with weapons.
Exactly. They're exciting. They're like really cool dreams. And so I just think I've seen enough to like know enough to know how to handle myself in a zombie apocalypse that would be my preference if I had to pick one.
Yeah. Okay, so Rye Smile Films, the whiskey guys, asked us, the film that you most want to cover in the next year.
There are a couple movies that have been on my list for a while now, and I would say Antebellum and His House, I feel like got really like a good reception, and so I'm really excited to watch those. Those would be at the top of my list. What about you?
His House, I'm so scared. Like the other night when I was alone, and when I had said I found myself all alone with the remote control, I thought of playing it, but I was too scared. I don't know. At that moment, it looks
scary.
I just felt too scared to watch it. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I agree with you. I am also excited for The Strangers because I love it. I'm really excited to watch it with you.
Yeah.
And to talk about it.
Yes.
And some of the
all of January.
Yeah, all of January, and we'll talk about it later. No, I was going to say, because even the ones you suggested for January, I really want to see. So I'm really excited. But if I had to just pick one, I guess I would say The Strangers, because that's my favorite, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Jade submitted this question to me personally, and so this is his question to us. What is your favorite non-horror movie? And I think I know yours, Felicia, but he doesn't know. So tell us what your favorite non-horror movie is.
Okay. I think I've only mentioned this once in an episode. So if you didn't listen to that episode, whichever one it was, you don't know. But my very, very favorite all-time favorite movie is The Elephant Man, the black and white one with Anthony Hopkins. I watched it as, it's very, very dear to my heart. It changed me. That's why I love it so much. It sounds silly, but it really did. I was a little girl when I saw it. And my heart, it's a true story as well about John Merrick. And the fact that people could be so cruel. I literally having emotions in my heart right now. That's how much this movie affected me. That people could be so cruel and cause someone so much pain. And what a lovely, lovely human being he was. But he was so horrifically deformed that all he wanted to do was enjoy life. And he just couldn't. devastated me on a deep, deep level. When I was a little girl, and if you heard the other episode where I talk about this, I apologize for the repeat, but my parents, I don't know if they do this now because people don't really write checks, but my parents would get an old checkbook, right? Because we moved, so they'd need new checks. They'd black out all the information. They'd give it to me to play with, like Play Store and stuff like that. I still have it. I have a folder like this thick of checks I'd write for millions of dollars so John Merrick could have plastic surgery, so that he could live his life. Like, it really deeply affected me to the point where I was always the person in high school that people just didn't tease other people around me. It just, because I would always, like, there would be this one kid in high school, and I'm not sure what his handicap was, but he was handicapped, and he loved the football players. And I remember my two football player friends like would tease him, like, as he was walking away, and I would say, you know what? He thinks you are the coolest guys. And he comes up to you, and the fact that you talk to him, he's just like, he looks up to you and thinks you're so cool. And then you tease him, and they'd be like, Felicia, you're such a downer. So then nobody wanted to tease anybody around me. But I can honestly say, I think it was the effect of that movie. So anyways, guys, that's my long-winded reason that The Elephant Man will always be my number one favorite all-time movie. I have to say one more thing. I used to choose if I was going to date somebody or not based on their reaction to The Elephant Man. We might be like kind of hanging out, and in one time we would watch it, and based on their reaction, I would see them again or I wouldn't. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that I was doing that.
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't know. I'm having such a hard time with this. Like, I feel like I have an answer, but it's just going to be, it's a basic bitch answer. So just everybody prepare your buttholes for that. But I can't think of anything else. So maybe I'll give like a handful of other movies that I really, really love. But the first one that came to mind was Drive. Like, I just love Drive. And I almost think it's a perfect movie in a way. Like, when I finished that movie, I was like, I want to watch this movie again and again and again. Like, it is so, I just love it. But there are other movies that I like that are not horror. And, again, I was listening to Homies of Horror, and they brought up Kill Bill. I love Kill Bill. It is like one of my top all favorite movies of all time. But it's hard to pick ones that aren't horror. And so, like, I know I'm cheating here, and I'm just giving you like a handful, but I also love Pink Floyd's The Wall. So I have that one on DVD, which I only own like 7 DVDs, and I love that movie. It was so impactful for me, and it just came at a perfect time in my, I don't even know, like, that's a story for a different time, I guess, but I love that movie. And I guess those are kind of the top ones that I can think of right now. But it's really hard to nail down one. Like, I don't know that I can say one.
Gosh, yeah, there are so many movies that, like, deeply I love, but I can definitely say that's my number one. Since you gave more than one, I want to give you my number 2, and that's Goodfellas. Okay. Like those two, I love so many movies. Just absolutely love them, but I can definitely say The Elephant Man, and then my second is Goodfellas. Go watch Goodfellas. I love the characters. I love the story. I love everything about that movie. But see, like, I loved Schindler's List. I loved The Green Mile. I loved Shawshank Redemption. There's so many movies. I love movies, but I can say those two are my top 2.
Okay, that's fair. Like, separated above. The movies that I've seen the most, too, like, I would also say, like, Wayne's World. Like, I've seen Wayne's World more than I've seen any other movie, probably in the history of movies. I had it on VHS, and I'd just put it in, and I'd start it, and I'd go to sleep. Like, that's the movie that I listened to. And also Anger Management. But I don't know that I love Anger Management, but I don't know that I think it's, like, the best movie ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know that I'd say that. But, yeah, so those are my...
I really loved Green Street Hooligans and would play it in the background just to hear Charlie Hunnam speak in his British accent for a couple of hours. It's so good. I love it.
God. We'll have to just settle for those. Even,
Yeah,
like,
we gotta settle for those.
You have like a solid idea. Like, I'm just like, oh, these are the things that come to mind. But I'm sure 20 minutes from now, I'm going to be like,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be like, oh shit, what about this movie or that movie? Like,
Yeah, we got to cap it. Those were good ones. Those were solid.
So our next question is from We Love Horror Podcast. And that is, what is the best memory you've had in the past year from doing this podcast and why?
Oh, God, that's hard. So many good memories. I mean, hitting 1,000, downloads and doing our very first episode and launching it. And there's just so many like Antichrist episodes, so many good memories. I would have to say, one of my favorite memories is, I'm going between the two, but they're related. Having Josh on our show or being on the Horror Movie Crew podcast show. So I'm going to say having Josh on our show, not because the Horror Movie Crew podcast was an amazing experience and an amazing conversation, because it was, and I think they know that we were on an all-time high after that. But the reason I'm going to say Josh is because that was the first guest we had. That was the first time that we did something with another horror podcast. And it was just so much fun to sit there and it was my favorite movies. We did Halloween.
Yes.
So that all together was one of my favorite moments from 2020, having Josh from Horror Movie Crew podcast on our podcast talking about Halloween.
Yes. Okay, that's a good one. And I agree with that. And I'm going to pick some other ones just to be different. So I feel like I can't remember like specifics, but at some point like I logged in to our like, Buzzsprout account and I was like, oh shit. Like I realized there was like a number and I think it was like 30 or something. And I was like, 30 people have downloaded this episode. But I started counting on like, my fingers. I'm like, what about all the people that know us, right? Like I'm like, I've got my friends. Like, I've got Allie and Paige and Felicia's got her friends. Maybe it's like a couple people, like whatever. And it was when we had like, I don't know, 5 episodes or something. And like, I couldn't do the math. Like, I was like, even if all the people that we know that really want to listen to our episodes downloaded our episodes, we're like 3 times that. Like, I remember like doing the math and being like, 18 strangers are listening to our podcast. Like, I couldn't even, it didn't compute. I was like, who are these people? Where are they? Who's listening to this podcast? Like, I don't know. So for some reason, that is like one of my best memories. It's just this moment where I was like, and I still have them. I'm like constantly like, who's listening to these episodes? Where are you? I mean, thank you. I'm glad that you like some of what we said enough to like continue to listen to our episodes, but I'm just like, where are you in the world? I want to connect with you. I want to talk to you. I want to know you as people. And, that was just, I don't know, eye-opening. And I also would say, as a second or third, maybe, just watching movies that I never would have watched otherwise, like Antichrist. We've already touched on this a little bit, but that was an incredible experience for me. And to have you have brought that to me and like, oh God, we got to watch it and experience it and talk about it together was just incredible. So
dude, I love like both of those. I remember you slacking me. Who is listening to us? Yeah. Other people than our friends are listening to us. That's solid. That was really exciting that, yeah, other people are listening to our show. And then as it went up and up and up, it's like, it's such a rush. It's so exciting. And the cool thing is we're going to, as it goes up and up and up and up, that's just like going to be a constant. And because I'm very optimistic and we keep getting to experience that. And I agree with you, experiencing movies. I'm going to add one more. Our first Patreon.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Our first so patron.
Cool. Yeah. Yes, we logged in and had that email that somebody signed up for our patron. Oh my gosh. That was cool too. Lots of good ones.
Yes. Oh,
I can't wait for 2021, dude. It's going to be insane.
Me either. Yes.
Good question, We Love Horror. Thank you. So my husband asked, and I know we've answered this before, but just in case this is a first episode that somebody's listening to. My husband wanted to know, Steve, what is your favorite genre and why? So you're like, what is your least favorite? And then we got, what is your favorite or which one do you think you would survive? What is your favorite genre and why? Mine would be psychological.
Is this subgenre? Or
oh, he said genre. I don't think he knows about subgenre.
Okay.
Why? I don't either. Genre. Oh,
so he must mean subgenre.
He means, horror genre. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, okay, he means like a horror movie, a subgenre. Yes, that's what he means, because I don't think he wants to know in general, because we'd be like, horror movies. Great question. Great question, Steve. Don't embarrass me. I think he means subgenre. I will say very quickly, I think if you guys have listened, you know I love psychological. And the reason, though, the why, it was because it's my biggest fear, to lose control of my mind. So I think that when that happens within a movie, it terrifies me and gives me a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. So that's my favorite.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, and Supernatural is probably my favorite. And within that, I think also includes, possession movies, in my opinion. So even, beyond that subgenre, there's like a subgenre that is like possession movies, but Supernatural is my favorite. It's always the thing that scares me the most. Well, I shouldn't say scares me the most, but it's one of the things that scares me the most. I also really enjoy scary, like real world scary.
Oh, me too. If it's based
like
on
Hostel.
A true story. Oh, yeah. Real world scary that can happen. Like, yeah. That's terrifying. That's why I love The Stranger so much.
Exactly.
Yes. Realistic. Like the customers, the actors, they do realistic reactions, and you're not ever thinking, shit, this couldn't happen. You're like in it. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Is that a subgenre?
Yeah.
Realistic.
I don't know.
Good acting movies.
I don't know. I would say home invasion almost, but maybe not. Like The Strangers is home invasion, but like Hostel is not. Hostel is like a real world,
I like real world stuff. It terrifies me. Okay, our very last question to round out the Q&A, and thank you again for everybody that submitted questions. We truly appreciate you and your podcast and everything. Even if you don't have a podcast, everything you're putting out there in the world, we love connecting with you and following you. And to end the Q&A section, I'm going to submit a question from Titi, who is my 6-year-old. So what she said was, I asked her if she had any questions for me and Tawny, and she said, I love you both. She literally said that. I love you both. I love your show, but I haven't seen it. So I really want to be able to see it. That's literally what she said.
Thank you.
She knows the music because she hears it. But so then she said, why do you guys both do podcasts? And so she was right. She asked the same question as the horror movie crew.
Yeah.
And we answered that. And so for Titi, who's not going to hear this because she doesn't see her show, we just love, in a nutshell, talking to each other and connecting with people, sharing what we love most, talking and connecting.
Exactly. Specifically in this case about horror stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Horror content. Yeah.
Yeah, about horror content, sharing that with the world. And I love it because I used to be that person when someone goes, oh, that's cool that you do that. I don't really like horror movies. Really? What scary movies do you like? Oh, this, and this. Those are all horror movies, my friend. Because I didn't know. I thought horror movies were all Jason and Freddy and Michael. I just didn't know until meeting Tawny that it's so much bigger.
Yeah. So. Okay.
All
That's
right,
a good
Tawny.
end cap one.
Yes, it is. Thank you, TT. Okay, so now we're going to move into the Christmas trivia.
Yes. Okay, so I put together this Christmas trivia just for my coworkers, and I thought it would be fun if we went through it as a group, so I'm just pulling it up and moving it where I can see it. And so what you need to know is all of the answers to these questions are the names of Christmas movies. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
And let me get a new sticky note, and I'll just keep track of how many you get right. And I feel proud of this. It was very fun to put together. So here we go, Felicia.
I'm ready.
She's the only one participating, except for you guys at home. And we're gonna go one at a time, so you don't have to wait until the end to get the right answers. Okay, so Felicia, number 1. What animated 2004 film is about a train that carries kids to the North Pole on Christmas Eve?
The Polar Express.
Got it. Great job. Polar Express. Number 2. What Bing Crosby song is the best-selling single ever?
White Christmas.
Check. That's a 2. Great job. Number 3. What was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time?
Of all time? A
Yes.
Wonderful Life?
No.
A Christmas Carol?
No.
Hmm.
I'll give you a third guess.
Okay. A Christmas Story?
No.
Shit.
It is Home Alone.
Oh! Home Alone. Okay.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I named some pretty legit ones, though.
You did. Yes. And listen, here, just so you know, the first 2 questions were easy. The rest
Oh, okay.
get harder.
I was feeling good. All right.
I designed it that way. Okay. And so, number 4. Which Christmas movie features Arnold Schwarzenegger desperately trying to get an action figure on Christmas Eve as a gift for his son?
Oh my gosh, I've seen this.
I might have lied. This one's easy too.
Not for me. I've seen it. I do not remember what it's called, though. I don't remember what it's called.
She knows it, though. It's Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. Okay. I've seen the movie. I didn't remember what it was called at all.
That's fair. Next one. I'm losing track already. That's just the numbers. So sorry, y'all. It's happening. Danny Elfman wrote and sang the songs featured in this holiday classic.
Oh. A Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yep. Nice job.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, next up. This is the first traditionally hand-drawn animated movie to make use of volumetric lighting and texturing to give it a more 3D-like look.
Jeez, that's a lot of words.
I mean, you should know also, my whole team, is video production. They're video production professionals. So this one was a little bit more catered to them. I don't even know what all those words
mean. So it doesn't bring, a picture to my mind. But
I realize in this moment that some of that doesn't make sense, probably.
I guess if we're talking about Christmas movies, and they're animated.
Groundbreaking.
Okay, I'm going to say this, but I don't think it's right because I think it was more like a stop motion situation, but that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon. I don't think that's animated, but I'm just going to say that.
That was a good guess. I think Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was claymation.
Claymation, yeah.
So that was a good guess, but it's way more recent than that. So I'll give you another guess.
Oh, okay. A holiday movie way more recent than that? Was it one of the Grinch That Stole Christmas?
No, it's Klaus.
Oh shit! I would have never guessed that. So I'm glad you
said it.
That was good though. I'm glad you said it. I would have never guessed it.
That one, it is very specific. So I apologize for that one as we're going through here. Okay, next one. What 60s Christmas movie starred Boris Karloff? Do you know who Boris Karloff is?
Mm-mm.
He was the main actor in a handful of monster movies, from way back when. Black and white. Think like old.
Old. And the question was, what's the first holiday movie that he appeared in? Or what is the holiday movie he appeared in?
It's what 60s Christmas movie starred
60s.
Boris Karloff?
60s Christmas movie. I'm going to say, this is going to be wrong. I don't even know if it's the 60s. A Wonderful Life. I'm just going to keep saying that one.
Not a bad guess. I think that is
50s,
maybe in the realm.
Right?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
No.
A Miracle on
dates.
34th Street?
No, I'll give you another hint. Here. What animated 60s Christmas movie starred Boris Karloff?
Animated in the 60s? Like a Charlie Brown's Christmas?
No.
Shit, I don't. Oh, The Grinch That Stole Christmas?
Yes, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes,
he is the Grinch. He's the Grinch
no way.
and the narrator. Isn't that crazy?
That's cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
I'm gonna count that. You got it. That's definitely
I totally got it after a while. Totally.
Okay, next one. Due to the Roman numeral error in the copyright notice, the original elements of this film are considered public domain.
A Christmas Story?
I think you might know this because of the shows that you watched.
Oh, Elf?
Close.
I'm close. The only ones on there were Elf and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, but what did they pull from?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That, yes, they had a whole thing on that with Elf and the costuming and stuff like that. Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm counting it. She got it. That was a point.
She really had to help me with that, but...
Okay, next one. According to the folklore of Austria and other countries, what horned figure punishes naughty children at Christmas time?
Krampus.
Yep.
I already told my daughter about him.
How did that go?
I didn't do the stick thing. I didn't want her to think the elves were killed or anything. But I just said, if she was being kind of naughty. And I was like, TT, is Santa coming or Krampus? And she stopped and looked at me. What? So I told her that Krampus, and she saw a picture of him because when I'm doing my editing of for our social media posts, she saw him, and I just told her that he comes and he has sticks and he spanks bad kids. So she wasn't, she kind of changed her ways. She said Santa, but I didn't really traumatize her.
Hammer it. Yeah.
No, I didn't go into it.
Okay. Next one. What classic Christmas movie was ranked as the #1 most inspirational movie of all time by the American Film Institute?
A Wonderful Life.
Yep. Fucking hate that movie. Hate it. Okay. Okay, so the last 5 are all quotes from movies that you're going to name the movie that it's from. I'm sorry I ruined your lives and crammed 11 cookies into the VCR.
Oh my god. I'm sorry I ruined your lives and crammed. I have no idea. No idea.
Do you want me to give you a hint?
Yeah, give me one hint. Yeah, please.
I actually don't. I haven't prepared a hint or anything, so I don't know what. But I mean, I will say this is the most quotable movie that I could find. It was actually very difficult to find something about this movie that you wouldn't know right off the bat.
It's a holiday movie.
Semi-recent.
Elf? I mean, I know it's not. It's Elf?
Yep.
I literally just watched it and don't even remember when they say that.
I don't either. It's the only quote I could pull from this movie that I was I'm not sure, right? All the other quotes, you're oh, that's from Elf, right?
Oh, okay, yes. I don't even remember him saying that. Okay, that's a good one.
So great job. Great job. Next is, Santa says, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. When I get home, I'm getting a CAT scan.
Is it the Santa Claus? No, because
Yeah,
he is Santa.
nice job.
It
nice
is?
job.
It's the
You got
Santa
it.
Claus? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. Nice job. Okay. You throw quite a party. I didn't realize they celebrated Christmas in Japan.
Gremlins? Just because he went to Chinatown. I don't even know. I was trying to think,
No.
like, who, where, what? That's my guess.
Okay, it was Die Hard.
Oh, is that a Christmas movie? Oh, it takes place around Christmas. Okay. Oh, I would not have guessed that. I've seen them all, but long time ago. Like a good one.
I just took the stance that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, so that is maybe a controversial opinion to begin with, but I haven't even seen it, so I don't know. Next up is a neighbor asks, "You're skipping Christmas? Isn't that against the law?"
Oh. It's that couple that they're deciding not to do Christmas because their daughter is away, and so they're gonna like go and travel, and the neighborhood is really mad at them because they're not putting out their Christmas decor. It has Dan Aykroyd in it. Home for the Holidays, is that what it's called?
No.
Uh
But I think you're thinking of the right movie.
Yeah. And there's like this fight. Yes. And everyone's mad and they all turn on them because they want to like go to Maui or Hawaii or something like that. And then their daughter decides to come home and they're like, oh shit, we were going to celebrate Christmas. So they had to put all their shit together. That's all I got. That movie. I just outlined the entire movie.
I'm going to give you a point. It was Christmas at the Cranks.
Christmas and the Cranks, yes.
You knew
okay.
it. You knew it. You just didn't know the name.
Yes.
Okay, last one. In which Christmas romantic comedy will you hear Jack Black say, "If you were a melody, I used only the good notes"?
It's the one with Kate Winslet and Jude Law and Black Jack.
This one's
right?
hard. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't verify if you're saying the right movie.
And Cameron Diaz, and they switch houses. And then Kate Winslet goes and meets Jack Black because she goes to Cameron Diaz's house.
Let me Google this. Let me Google it.
And it's called...
I've never even seen
Is it called Home for the Holidays? I only have like a handful of titles in my head, but like I think I could say the whole movie where Kate Winslet wants to get away from England and Cameron Diaz wants to get away from LA and they switch houses, and then Cameron Diaz falls in love with Jude Law and Kate Winslet falls in love with Jack Black.
Okay, you've got the right movie. You've definitely got the right movie. I'm going to give you a point. It's called The Holiday.
The Holiday. Okay. Yay.
Yes. Okay, so out of 15 points, you got 11. That's
generous.
Pretty damn good.
That's generous of you. You definitely, if you're a teacher, everybody wants to take Tawny's class because she was very kind with her her grades for me. That was fun.
11 out of 15. That was good. I'm glad you liked it. I was very proud of it. I think you were just 1 point behind the winner in my group, so if that makes you feel good, that's what it is.
It does make me feel good.
Great job.
It makes me feel really good. That was fun. This was a fun episode. Thank you again to everybody that's contributed. We hope that you liked it. Coming up, the party doesn't stop, because coming up next month in January, we're still thinking of a cool name, but it is our birthday month. You heard me right. Our.
Both of ours.
Both of ours. I was born on January 30th, and Tawny was born on January 31st. So we are for January, we're going to do everything for us. It's all about us. It's all about us and our birthdays. So the episodes that are coming are our favorites. So Tawny picked 2. I picked 2. The one coming up next is Sinister. Next week will be Sinister. Really excited about that. That was my pick. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with our posts, and we're going to have like a lot of birthday posts and like just different stuff. We're really looking forward to it. We still need to think of a catchy thing
name.
like we had.
Yeah, we've been like
treat, but
working on it. We're having a hard time. But you just made me think. Super selfish birthday month. Super selfish.
Something about being like just like bratty Veruca Salts. Like, do you know what Veruca Salt is?
Yeah.
Yeah. But not, just like all about us. Like, just be selfish and.
That is it, though. It's super selfish birthday babes.
Birthday month.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to write that down. And it's just everything that we want to share. So we are very excited about next month.
Yes. It's going to be our top favorite 2 movies that we could think of that we want each other to watch. And I'm fucking stoked. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I'm stoked too. I can't wait. On the 1st, we'll release the entire January schedule. So you'll be able to check it out there on our social media. And yeah, should we wrap this bad boy up?
Let's do it with this bad boy.
Josh with the Horror Movie
hated
Proof
that
podcast hated that, but I like it. So we're gonna wrap this bad boy up.
Yes. So follow us and like us and subscribe and give us a review wherever you're listening, whatever place you are. You can also send us a message or interact with us in any place. Please, we love it. We love talking to you. Facebook group, Instagram, wherever you want to do. It's 2 Chicks and a Horror Flick, wherever it is, except for Twitter. It's 2chickshf. And also you can do our email at 2chicksandahorrorflick@gmail.com. So that's all pretty easy. Please do all of those things. And we also have our Patreon that you can go and support the show at our Patreon. That's also
for some
2 Chicks and a
extra
Horror
juicy
Flick.
perks.
Yes. Is that all of it? Did I miss something? I was trying to do it super fast.
No, I think that's all of it. That's like all the things. Yeah, you can listen to us on any podcast platform you like. You can even ask Alexa, oops, she heard me, to please play 2 Chicks and a Horror Flick, and she'll do it. Don't do it, Alexa. And we love you. Thank you for spending 2020 with us. Thank you for making this such an amazing year for us. I mean, you interacting with us and sharing with us and listening to us means literally the world to us. So
yes, absolutely. It's been so incredible. And we hope that even with all of the, negative things that have come with this year, you found something as a, silver lining or some positives. And we are so honored to connect with you and to know you in any tiny little way possible, right? Like, even just if you listen to us and we've not interacted yet, it's just incredible to be, in just communication with people online in this trying time. So that's kind of my
Wouldn't it be amazing if listening to our podcast brought smiles to people's faces in another time?
Totally.
Hard year. That would be a very great honor if we brought a little laughter at least to your days. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. That's a good point, Felicia. Like, hopefully there's been some kind of good, break that you've been able to find in, listening to our podcast and just sharing your love of horror with us. So, yeah.
We're looking forward to a big, amazing, fat 2021. I got the year right.
Yes, you did.
Yes, finally, in this whole time we've been recording, I got the year right.
Do you want to sign us off, Felicia? You did the first one, and I just feel like it's you're gonna christen our last one.
Okay, so thank you again so much for listening to us. We hope you have a wonderful night and no nightmares.